And we welcome you live inside Reliant Stadium as tonight the Rutgers Scarlet Knights take on the Kansas State Wildcats for the first time in the history of these two programs. And the fans are certainly ready for football, as are we, as we welcome you to the inaugural Texas Bowl. And there, look live at the Scarlet Knights ready to take the field. Better than 9,000 strong have made the trek from South New Jersey as we welcome you inside our broadcast booth. Great to have you with us on NFL Network alongside Sterling Sharp and Mike Mayock. I'm Spiro Ditas. The Scarlet Knights of Rutgers have enjoyed a Cinderella season, guys. They come to Houston tonight looking for their first ever bowl victory. The 16th ranked team in the country, hard to believe, but the painful memories of that December 2nd loss at West Virginia, Sterling, still very vivid in their mind. Cost them a BCS berth. Greg Schiano says, forget all that. Let's win tonight for the senior class.
And that's the big thing, Spiro. When you talk to head coach Greg Schiano, it's all about the seniors, the 6 guys that he built the core of this football team around. As you see those numbers and what they're building to, 5-7 in 2003, 10-2 this year, what they're trying to do is get the bowl game that they want, and that's the national championship game. In order to do that and to send these seniors out as winners, it's going to be on the legs of Ray Rice. You know about the Heisman finalist, one of the best running backs in the country, and his 19 touchdowns are going to pay huge dividends for this football team. In order for those rings to say champions, though, I think the MVP of this football game could easily be Mike Teal. He is not going to wow you with arm strength. He is not going to wow you with mobility, but I believe with the way Rutgers loves to run the football, he is going to have 6 to 8 opportunities to make big plays in this football game.
Now, Mike Mayock, we mentioned Greg Schiano, the head coach of Rutgers. Kansas State also boasts a young and vibrant, talented head coach, and 37-year-old Ron Prince has this program back in postseason play after a 2-year absence. We know he's a gambling man. That season shuffle at the quarterback position does away with the steady veteran, and Dylan Meyer goes to a true freshman named Josh Freeman. The move paid off.
And you know what? Like any true freshman, especially at the quarterback position, you got to take the good with the bad. Freeman was horrible his first 4 weeks. That's to be expected. He completed 43% of his passes, no touchdowns. They go 1-3. Then he lit it up. Iowa State, Colorado, Texas. He completed 71% of his passes, 6 touchdowns against 2 interceptions. This guy is scary. The problem is we don't know if we're getting Jekyll or we're getting Hyde. That's the key.
I tell you what, another scary Wildcat Rutgers is going to have to keep tabs on tonight. A wild card could very well be Yamon Figurs.
Speed kills. Yamon Figurs, 4.340 guy against Texas. 123 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. Also had a key 52-yard punt return. And, oh, by the way, he's the best gunner on the punt teams in college football. He's forced 3 fumbles. So one way, shape, or form, Yamon figures to play a major role in this football game.
Mike Mayock, ladies and gentlemen. The Texas Bowl is just minutes away from downtown Houston. Rutgers in town with their 9,000 plus from South Jersey. And Kansas State has come very strong as well from Manhattan. We'll have the opening kick when we come back.
Gumdrop here. Let's clear something up. Up north, we make rocking horses and wooden trains. iPods, not so much. But if you just got an iPod, Radio Shack has loads of accessories, like headphones, speakers, FM transmitters, cool cases, many at 20 to 50% off. So for iPod stuff, go to Radio Shack. If you need a new caboose for your train, I'll whittle you one.
All the stuff you need to go with all the stuff you got. Only at Radio Shack.
Between my 2 phone bills, it's probably about $60 a month.
About $150.
Probably $100 a month.
With Vonage, you get unlimited calls to anywhere in the U.S. and Canada, and all the cool features you could ever want are included. And it's just $24.99 a month.
Call 1-888-530-4VON and get your first month of Vonage service free. That's a value of $24.99. Vonage, the better way to phone for less.
The Giants know it all comes down to this one. To realize their postseason dreams, they must first get past Washington. The Giants put it all on the line when they face the Redskins on Saturday Night Football. Giants-Redskins, Saturday night at 8 on NFL Network.
Captains at the 50-yard line inside Reliant Stadium for the coin toss of tonight's 2006 Texas Bowl, the inaugural Texas Bowl here at Reliant Stadium. And Kansas State has won the toss. They have deferred. Rutgers will receive to begin play tonight. It has been a busy week of festivities here in Houston leading up to tonight's Texas Bowl. Tuesday night, both of these teams attended the Rodeo Bowl at George Ranch in Richmond, Texas, located about 20 miles to the southwest of downtown Houston. And the guys, boy, weren't just there observing, they were getting into the spirit of things. Don't have much of a rodeo environment in South Jersey, which I could attest to, but Rutgers, very animated guys getting into the rodeo.
Yeah, I think they were trying to get Sperling out there, you know what I'm saying?
I'm a lot better rodeo than that.
Well, two very young and talented coaches will play the chess match tonight. And there's Greg Schiano, the 40-year-old at the helm of Rutgers, who has really catapulted himself into the national spotlight. The Home Depot National Coach of the Year, of course, with what he has done. And his counterpart tonight, 37-year-old coach Ron Prince, a candidate for the Big 12 Coach of the Year. What a job he has done, guys. Not many people expected this to be a 2-win improvement from a year ago in year one of this Prince regime. But he has this team at the doorstep. A win tonight, guys. It'll be the second win for K-State against the top 20 opponent.
And I think you look at this football team at Kansas State, they do an excellent job of playing to their youth. Young coaching staff, very energetic coaching staff, but very energetic and young players. And those young players are going to have to play as a unit tonight, set the stage, especially defensively, for Kansas State victory.
Back deep to return for Rutgers, Willie Foster and Cordell Young. And a nice kick taken from about 2 yards deep. It is Willie Foster. It busts out towards the sideline. Nice coverage. And guys, we touched on it. Kansas State known for their special teams play. And it's not just the Yamon figures, it's their tackling, their defensive play on the kick and punt return games as well.
Yeah, understand who made that tackle. Justin McKinney, their starting corner, is on the kickoff team. Ron Prince believes you put your elite players out on the field to make plays in every phase of the game.
So Mike Teal takes his Rutgers offense onto the field to start play. Teal on the season going to have the 13 interceptions and 10 touchdowns, the Oakland, New Jersey native. As Ray Rice and Brian Leonard are the starters in the backfield, and now they line up in the offset eye to the right. Teal under center.
8-man front by Kansas State. You'll see that all day, folks.
Play clock down to 1 second. Teal to give to Rice, who has some running room. He's out past the 25. And a nice start for Rice and the Rutgers offense. A 16-yard rush on the first play from scrimmage. Taco Bell sponsors tonight's starting lineups. As we already have mentioned, Mike Teal out of Oakland, New Jersey. Brian Leonard, who began the season as a Heisman Trophy candidate. We look at the backs and receivers. Kenny Britt getting a start tonight. This is a banged-up wide receiving core for Rutgers that they will try to pick up the slack in other areas. And up front, we take a look at some homebred New York, New Jersey products. And we'll try to get things done along the line of scrimmage tonight. Teal under center. Just over a minute gone by here in Houston. A first down and 10. Double tight end set with Clark Harris and Sam Johnson. And again, Rutgers keeps it on the ground, guys, as they approach the 35-yard line. Tackle made by Reggie Walker, the Sam linebacker for this Kansas State defense. And let's take a look at how Ron Prince aligns the defensive front four with Campbell, Klein, Moran, and Jackson up front. Wildcats linebacking core, Zach Dials, guys, we'll be talking about his name a lot as this game goes on. And that Wildcats secondary that has taken its hits at times. Trying to deal with this Rutgers passing game tonight. A 3-yard rush sets up a 2nd and 7 for the Scarlet Knights. Again, the offset eye to the left. Teal goes play action, did not sell it very hard. Throws over the middle, and the first completion of the night. The Rutgers offense, it's Clark Harris with his first catch. And Harris, guys, has a track record for big performances in these high-profile games. We'll see if that trend continues tonight as we take a look at some of the numbers on Mike Teal this season.
Well, I like Mike Teal, and I like what I've seen from him, especially with the running game, as potent it has been, Mike. And when you look at Mike Teal, he's going to have opportunities. 10 touchdowns, but more mistakes than good plays for the Rutgers offense.
Yeah, but that play, they had a deep dig wide open behind.
Yes, he was.
But he took the short throw. He's afraid of making mistakes.
James Townsend, the third receiver on 3rd down and 5. Teal has time, and his pass a little bit out in front of Harris, the intended target. So he goes to the tight end for a 2nd straight pass play, guys. And Marcus Watts who makes his return from a 4-game injury absence with a broken hand. The man on the coverage.
Outstanding job by Kansas State's defense getting off the field. Passes a little high out in front. It's an easy catch and run. Should be a first down, but maybe some jitters early on putting this game on Mike Teal's shoulders instead of leaning more on Ray Rice.
First 2 plays, running plays, big one by Ray Rice. They're going to have to grind the football, and Sterling throw the ball first down. Make it easier for him on first down.
And Dumont figures the man back deep to return the kick. One of the most dangerous, if not the most dangerous, special teams return in the country. They kick it to him, but he loses his footing at the 15-yard line. Was not touched. Tried to bounce it out for some more yardage. And guys, you were down on the field before the game. Very slick track down there. Could be a big factor tonight.
And Mike and I both slipped coming out of the tunnel, just walking around down there. The field is very slick. And in warm-ups, I saw every receiver from both Rutgers and Kansas State slip, and I expect to see a lot of that tonight.
Well, let's take a look at the Kansas State Wildcats offense, sponsored by Taco Bell, as Kansas State will bring out their offense for the first time tonight. Backs and receivers, Josh Freeman, the true freshman, a freshman All-American candidate, Norwood and Lestrud. And the Hogs up front for Kansas State, an alignment that they feel good about. They have struggled at times. And let's see how they fare here on their first drive of the game. Kansas State behind Josh Freeman. It's James Johnson, the starter in the backfield. The lone setback, and the pass on first down is off target. Intended receiver Daniel Gonzalez.
Freeman is one of those guys, you heard Mike talk about him in the open. I mean, his numbers are very schizophrenic. 6 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. They come out right away, put the game on his shoulders. Good or a bad thing?
I think he's a young kid who's got to work into the ball game here a little bit. And you know what? I'd like to see him throw the ball short like they just did right there. What Ron Prince told me in practice the other day is we got to work towards more balance.
Guys, keep in mind, Kansas State has not played since the 11th of November. That is almost 2 months' time. I don't care how good Josh Freeman has been at times, guys. That is a long layoff for any team. There's a couple of penalty markers are thrown down. This one against the Kansas State offense.
Sterling used the term schizophrenic, and that's exactly what he is. I watched a bunch of his tapes. You know, against Colorado, Iowa State, and Texas, he looked like a pro-style quarterback that's already played 3 years. However, the other games I watched where he completed 43% of his passes, he looked like a young freshman, which is what he is, Sterling.
And that's exactly what offensive coordinator James Franklin told me, is he's got to learn to manage the game and try to be as consistent as possible, play within himself, don't try and do too much, and this Kansas State offense should have some success tonight.
False start penalty against Kansas State gives them a 2nd and 15, and a draw play here as they keep it on the ground. And decent running room up the middle as Kansas State is out to the 20-yard line. Devon Thompson, the Rutgers middle linebacker, with the tackle of James Johnson. So Johnson, guys, getting the start, not Leon Patton, one of the other freshman stars on this Kansas State offense. As we take a look at the defensive alignment for the Scarlet Knights out of Rutgers, the linebackers in the middle. Thompson out of Piscataway, New Jersey, very close to that Rutgers South Brunswick campus. And that secondary, much improved from last season, a group that we'll touch on as this game progresses. Kansas State breaks the huddle. Faced now with a 3rd and 7. Antonio Brown checks into the game at one of the wide receivers. Very close. This one could be another delay of game, so a 2nd penalty against Kansas State. And guys, we talk about the rust, the timing, a big part of this.
I kind of like what Greg Schiano, Rutgers head coach, told us earlier this week, and he talked about this is kind of like the first game of the season. We haven't played in a long time. Kansas State hadn't played in a long time. So this is like the first game of the season where you're going to see mistakes like delay a game, false starts. You're going to see those mistakes made.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about a true freshman quarterback on one side of the football and a sophomore quarterback on the other. You know, they've got more practices for the bowl than they do in spring football. It's unbelievable.
And here on the 3rd down play, 3rd and 12, they fire far side. And the pass sails out of bounds. Already 10 yards in penalties assessed to the Kansas State offense. They cannot overcome that. And the Wildcats will have to punt.
And Rutgers rolled their coverage to the wide side of the field. They were trying to get figures on a wheel route on the safety, Ron Giral. Ball was overthrown. It was pretty good coverage, though, by Giral. Watch him rotating over to that side of the field. There goes the wheel route, top of the screen. The strong safety, Giral, does an excellent job running underneath the football, forcing the deep and wide throw.
Looks like some man coverage, too, by Rutgers.
Yep.
Tim Rayer, the man who punted away for Kansas State on 4th down. And that hit right after the catch. Apparently too close for comfort as a penalty marker is thrown.
Flag is down.
It was Marcus Watts, the man who applied the hit for the Wildcats.
How about Willie Foster holding on to the football?
I thought Willie Foster thought he was going to come out the backside of that one. And that was one of those, you know, Mike, you and I both return guys. As old return guys.
Number 2 on the kicking team. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Poor Willie almost went head over heels after this hit, but he does hold on to the football as we take another look at this smackdown.
He thought he was coming out the backside of that one for a big one.
Field position, guys.
Well, both teams come up empty on their first offensive possessions of the night, but the battle of field possession is weighing in favor of Rutgers here at the start, as they will have excellent field position now at the Kansas State 35-yard line. Rutgers and Kansas State scoreless. As we welcome you back inside Reliant Stadium here in downtown Houston, the inaugural Texas Bowl on NFL Network. Rutgers has it with Mike Teal under center, 1st and 10. Well, man, Kansas State 35-yard line. The pitch to Ray Rice, trying to bust it up the middle. And that time the Wildcats are able to hold their ground. And guys, one of the most remarkable college football stories in recent memory, what Schiano has accomplished with this Rutgers ball club. The second 10-win season in 137 years of Rutgers football. Just an amazing story.
Yeah, and when was the first 10-win season, guys?
The first, well, I know the 11-win was 78.
That was good.
Trivia question.
That was good. 78, Coach Frank Burns,
that
when
was
they played
first. Okay, that was
mostly Ivy League teams back then.
What are you saying? Ivy League wasn't very good?
Well, not like they were in the 30s when they were the national champions.
Brian Leonard, a fullback, is the lone setback. Takes the give on 2nd down to 10. And Leonard busts one out inside the 30. And he's very close to that first down marker. As the Wildcats unable to wrap up, Kyle Williams was the first man there.
You know, the one thing you know, in talking to the defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris for Kansas State, he talked about we got to play fast. We got to we got to be the standard. And being the standard is at the point of attack, you got to tackle for no gain right here. But what Brian Leonard is able to do is able to put his arm down, good balance. He could be the wild card in this game as well. He leads the team in catches. Great balance right there, great vision, great power, and gives the Rutgers a chance and opportunity here to put points on the board, which I think is going to be huge.
Yeah, and Kyle Williams, their strong safety, is the guy that came up, had a one-on-one tackle there. And let me tell you something about Brian Leonard. He's going to be a 2nd-round draft pick. He was the focal point of this offense until Ray Rice came knocking.
Yes.
He took a step back, he blocks, he catches. He also has tremendous athletic ability to be a one-back in a one-back offense.
Yes, sir.
Well, he and Ray Rice have provided the 20th most potent rushing attack in college football this season, as now they combine in the offset eye to the left. Play action from Teal. And now the give on the pass play. They find Leonard out of the backfield. Leonard forced out of bounds inside the 20 after he ran guys for 10 yards. And he provides every facet that you want from a solid fullback.
And that's the thing. You talk about and I think when you look at the Rutgers offense, Mike Teal, Brian Leonard, this is a drag slide kind of thing. You're going to bring the fullback back underneath, get the football out of your hands, look at him, put it away, turn upfield, and then make them knock you out of bounds. This offense now is starting to feel its stride now, so Kansas State is going to have to come up with a huge play on defense.
Rutgers has it now with a 2 tight end set. They go with Clark Harris and Sam Johnson as they spot the football at the Kansas State 19-yard line. Wildcats with 6 men along the line of scrimmage. Rice on the handoff inside the 20. And it looks like he is about a yard short. And a first down marker at the 15-yard line.
You know, we talk about Brian Leonard a couple of plays ago with a nice run. They follows it up with a nice catch. What's going to determine what he turns out to be in the NFL is going to be his ability to block. He's athletic enough. He's tough enough. But on that last play, he whiffed on the inside linebacker who made the tackle.
Right.
That's what he's got to work on.
Leonard, guys, second among all active players in college football in all-purpose touchdowns, 45 over the course of his 5-year Rutgers career. Leonard, a great sacrifice, as Mike pointed out, stepping back and allowing Ray Rice, the man on the carry here inside the 15-yard line, to become the star of this Rutgers rushing attack. And Rice, it appears as though it doesn't have enough for the first down, guys. It will be 1st and 10 Rutgers.
Greg Schiano, the head coach of Rutgers, told me on Wednesday, he talked about a little bit about what Ray Rice has to do. They're going to play an 8-man front. We're going to block 7 of them for you. The 8th man belongs to you, and you hear a lot of great backs talk about, and a lot of teams talk about, the 8th man in the box belongs to the guy carrying the football. Right there, they got him going sideways. If they can keep Ray Rice going from sideline to sideline, they can slow this Rutgers offense down. Make them run enough plays, because maybe they'll self-destruct down here in the red zone.
Ryan Leonard starts in the slot and goes in motion in the backfield on first down. Flare pass far side. And Teal, another completion inside the 5, touchdown. And the Scarlet Knights draw first blood. It's Tim Brown out of the backfield. A 14-yard pass play for the touchdown.
Beautiful setup and design of this football play. And Tim Brown is the guy that had only 4 catches coming into this game, but you get a little flare screen right there. Great blocking on the outside. The receiver, this is a great team offensive play right here. I mean, and that's all you want.
Look right there.
You want an opportunity to get to the corner. A guy with outstanding speed. You got him to the corner. You get yourself a 6-point lead.
James Townsend, great block. He stayed on his guy, took him on high, drove. And let me tell you something. Tim Brown, number 2, just scored that touchdown. Greg Schiano told me that in all his years of timing kids in the 40, and remember, Greg Schiano coached at where?
In Miami.
The U.
At the U.
He timed this kid in 4.27 last spring. He said, I don't believe that. Run it again. The kid ran 4.29. So he gets on the edge, it's all over.
And guys, we know that this Rutgers wide receiving core very thin with all the injuries. Brown, the true freshman out of Miami, made just 4 catches all season long as he makes the biggest play of his young college career tonight. A 14-yard pass play, 6-play scoring drive as Jeremy Ito hammers through the extra point. And Brown scampering in to give Rutgers the early 7-0 lead. Stay with us. Well, the true freshman Tim Brown all smiles after his 2nd touchdown of the season, just his 5th catch all year for Greg Schiano. A 6-play Rutgers scoring drive covers 35 yards in just under 3 minutes in time of possession. 14-yard pass play, guys. Rutgers 7 and Kansas State nothing.
I have to feel like the Kansas State sideline coaching staff football team felt the same way I did. When they saw a guy who's caught 4 passes all season, 1 touchdown, all of a sudden, here he is in the starting lineup in a bowl game. With that speed, I thought it was going to be vertical. Great design, the gold teeth blinging right there. Great design of an offensive play to get him in space. Receivers, his teammates doing an excellent job getting him on the corner. Wow, great design of a football play.
Well, speaking of explosive players in the open field, your mind figures back deep to return. And interesting to see how often Rutgers guys will kick to Figures in this game. Figures already has had 1 return tonight. And right now it will be Leon Patman and Justin McKinney actually to return the kick. So Figures on the sideline trying to rest him up. Also, of course, a wide receiver for the Wildcats.
They have had
Jeremy Ito to kick things off. Ito gets good leg on it. It's end over end. Taken by McKinney at around the 5-yard line. McKinney trying to get to the outside, and guys, again, that slippery track coming into play. Very tough footing here at the early going. McKinney an 11-yard return despite that slick surface. As Rutgers has jumped out to the early 7-0 lead. A 14-yard hookup. Tim Brown, the touchdown. That's where we stand. Rutgers with the touchdown lead as we approach the 7-minute mark of this first quarter. And we remind you that the playoff hopes of the New York Giants on the line Saturday night when the Giants travel to D.C. to face the Redskins. All the action continues Saturday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time on NFL Network. Kansas State on first down and 10 goes to the quarterback, the true freshman Josh Freeman, who has ridden guys to about the 20-yard line. Tackle made by the combination of DeVron Thompson and Quintero Frierson there. A 5-yard play from Freeman sets up a 2nd and 5.
I need to see some identity. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. I got a chance to see Rutgers' identity on the last play. Got their backfield in motion, got them going. Brian Leonard got them going. I'm looking for Kansas State to come out and show who they are. If they're going to be vertical and throw it around, then let's spread the field and throw it around.
Against some pre-snap movement, Kansas State with the ball on the ground there as they bounce it out past the 25-yard line. Enough for a Kansas State first down. That's James Johnson, who actually got the start tonight in front of Leon Patton, their usual starter.
Watch him seal the corner right here with the pulling guard. Now when you're running back, you're going downhill. James Johnson from Blinn Community College, is JC transfer. Look at the big fella, 69, Caleb Handy, sealing the edge. You get James Johnson running up the field. That's an easy downhill run for a tailback.
Yeah, Kansas State just needs to settle down a little bit. I mean, they're a little jittery. You know how the young guys are. They're a little jittery. Just settle down.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. That's not settled down.
No, that's called jittery, and that is called a young guy.
Well,
and you hit it right, and that was Frierson, the outside linebacker. You can't force the ball, Sterling, because right now with the score 7-0, things are all going their way. You got about 3 guys hanging on you. Don't force it off your back foot.
Just run some plays.
And by the way, that was a corner. That was a corner. Roberson coming off the edge. Schiano, the head coach, doubles as a defensive coordinator. Freeman can't throw the football in that situation, or this game will get out of control early.
Well, Leon Patton has not been used much here over the first 2 possessions in the game. Takes the head off of Freeman. And Patton is out past the 30-yard line outside the hash marks. Tackle made by the left quarterback, Derek Roberson. And Kansas State will have it at about the 33-yard line.
Derek Roberson is 5'10", 175. The receiver blocking him, Daniel Gonzalez, is 6'3", 215. The 6'3 guy just lost. Yeah, the 6'3 guy just lost. If the 6'3 guy does anything, if Daniel Gonzalez does anything, there's an opportunity for a big run, maybe even a big first down run.
And you know, all you got to do is get in the way.
Just
you don't have to kill anybody. Just get in the way.
Wildcats trying to get something going on his second drive for him tonight. He pitched it Patton outside, breaks the first tackle. He's out past the 30. But he was hard-pressed to even get back to the line of scrimmage, way short of that Wildcats first down marker. And again, Kansas State will have to punt.
Yeah, and you know what? The play was made there by a true freshman defensive end, George Johnson, who I think is going to turn into a freak. Look at 31 off the edge right there. Beats the pulling tackle. Doesn't make the play for the official tackle, but of course he stopped it. He's a guy that's 6'4", 230. Sterling, 18-year-old kid, hadn't even begun to fill out yet.
I could be a freak if nobody's going to block me.
Even now, Sterling. Tim Rea, the man to kick it away. Willie Foster, the fair catch at about the 21-yard line, and that's where Mike Teal and the Scarlet Knights will take over. Rutgers 7, Kansas State nothing. The Texas ball continues from Houston on NFL Network. Well, guys, you picture what an offensive line coach should look like. That is K-State offensive line coach Tim McCarty lighting into his guys during that timeout.
Yeah, but that's redundant. Every offensive line coach lights into his guys at every timeout. Trust me.
Well, Mike Teal ready to take his offense back onto the field, and Sterling, goes back to what you said with the focus on that Rutgers running attack. There are going to be chances for Teal to make some plays, and so far, so good. 3 for his first 4.
And he should be perfect. Mike talked about early, he missed a wide open guy on a dig route. He missed a guy on a third down crossing route. He's going to have opportunities to have some wide open guys. He just got to get him the football.
Yeah, especially off play action.
Yes,
and that's where he was effective on that last drive.
Rutgers trying to build on a 7-0 lead. They go with Leonard in motion. Ray Rice in the backfield, takes the handoff from Teal. And Rice again bounces off a couple of would-be tacklers out past the 25-yard line and around the 26 before K-State is able to bring Rice down. And again, guys, good first down yardage for the Scarlet Knights. And what a season for this young man.
You know, when I watch Ray Rice, I look at him and I'm trying to compare him to someone to give our fans an opportunity to say, who do I compare him to? Maurice Jones-Drew is a guy. Low to the ground, great center of gravity, hard to knock off his feet, has adequate speed, runs with good power, good vision. And I think Ray Rice is one of those guys that as he goes, the whole Rutgers football team is energized by the runs he makes.
19 touchdowns on the season. Here is Rice, plenty of real estate out past the 40 as he approaches midfield, and the Wildcats finally track him down from behind. Sam Johnson with the excellent block to free up Rice that time, as Rutgers has more than enough for the first down.
This is easy. We can look, great job on the seal by number 85, Sam Johnson, wide open. You know what? Bad block tackle right there by Marcus Watts, the free safety with Sterling. When I look at Ray Rice, you know who I see?
Who do you see?
Curtis Martin.
Oh, I like that one too. I like Curtis Martin too.
He needs to catch the ball a little bit more effectively. You talked about his 1,600 yards. He only had 4 catches this entire season.
24-yard burst from Rice sets up Rutgers with a 1st and 10. As Clark Harris, the man in motion, their tight end, lines up in the backfield. Teal has all day to throw, fires down the near sideline. That is caught. Touchdown, and again, it's Tim Brown on the reception. A 49-yard scoring right from Teal, and it's 13-0 Rutgers.
You know, I thought that I was going to get that on the first touchdown and then get the other one on the second. A guy with straight-out speed, and Kansas State has been talking all month long about rallying to the run. And then all of a sudden, Mike Teal is going to come back, beautiful step through, and then watch the speed of a guy just run underneath it. Just run underneath it. Everybody's looking in the backfield. And, I mean, he runs by the corner, Justin McKinney, so fast.
4.29.
Yeah, 4.29, that works. That definitely works. Beautiful football play by Rutgers.
Guys, how do we not get some more snaps for Tim Brown earlier in the season? That just four catches into this game tonight.
I'll tell you that story when we get a chance.
Jeremy Ito is perfect on his second point after tonight, and Rutgers has stunned Kansas State and their fans. Teal celebrates a 14-0 Scarlet Knights. Well, the Scarlet Knights at a Central Jersey have landed a couple of uppercuts here at the start. A 14-0 lead already, first quarter. And that man, Tim Brown, Mike Mayock, is having the game of his life. We're still in the first quarter.
Yeah, and I really think Rutgers thought they could take advantage of the outside deep whenever they're in a single high safety. There's your pre-read. Brown's down here. He's taken off. Folks, it doesn't matter at this point whether it's zone or man, because he's got the single high safety, effectively man-to-man on the bottom. McKinney gets late out of his back pedal. Sterling, that's 7 yards of separation. Now, I know he runs 4.29, but are you kidding me?
And I think that 4.29 is getting ready to force Kansas State's hand a little bit. I think they're a young football team. I think they're going to now start to panic. Now is the time where you need someone in the huddle to be calm. You need a good return. Very good day for Tim Brown, so now we need to flip the script, get somebody on Kansas State to kind of come up and do the same thing.
I think this almost might force a jump start of Josh Freeman. Down 14-0. I think he's better when he's a gunslinger.
Putting the ball in his hand?
Yeah, he's 18 and he's a true freshman, but why not? It's 14-0 at this point, and what they do best is throw the football.
Leon Patton back deep with the Yamon Figures. Patton takes it way deep in his own end zone as Jeremy Ito just launches one towards the back part of the end zone. So a touchback for the Wildcats, and this team's smarting right now after two quick touchdown strikes by the Rutgers Scarlet Knights and Mike Teal. Can't go unnoticed, guys. A perfectly thrown ball to Tim Brown for that second Rutgers touchdown. That's where we stand right now, 14-0.
I like to say that if you don't stop the run, then you don't get an opportunity to rush the passer. And I think when you look at Rutgers being able to run the football, you can't stop the run, you don't get that opportunity to let go and rush the passer.
And understand this, what does Kansas State do best defensively? They rush the passer.
Exactly.
But they're not real good against the run, so it's not a great matchup for K-State.
Josh Freeman, guys, 0 of 3 passing so far. He looks to throw on first down, and there's his first completion. As he finds his man over the middle, it's Michael Pushki, one of the backup tight ends for him. Brandon Redcart, the outside linebacker, makes the stop for Rutgers, and there's some good yardage on first down. And a look at what Kansas State has done, guys, over the course of the season. We mentioned the overachievement of Rutgers. How about what Ron Prince has accomplished in year one of his regime in Manhattan, Kansas?
Done a very fine job, I think, Spiro. Done a fine job being as young as he is at 37 years old and taking this young football team and getting them to believe in him. Outstanding design of a football play right here, picking up a first down.
And there's Patton out, busted it towards that Wildcat sideline. So the Wildcats tonight have a chance with a win at a 3-win improvement from last season. A year in which they finished at 5-6. And again, also attributable, guys, to a weak North Division in the Big 12 Conference, but you can't underscore what Prince has been able to do as Kansas State has first down and 10.
You really can't. And I think Kansas State, this is a football team that, you know, right now, this is what they need. They need to just settle down, run a few football plays, try and get Rutgers to dictate some coverage, get them in a situation where they can take advantage of some things. Seems like the running game is paying dividends. Stick with that for a while. But Kansas State is a football team down 14-0. Can't panic in this situation nearing the end of the first quarter.
Now, I think there's a difference between panicking, which they're clearly not doing. And remember, Ron Prince told me on Tuesday, we've got to be a more balanced football team. We can't just let them tee off with those great defensive tackles and that pressure and get to our young quarterback. So we've got to be more balanced. I happen to think they got to get the young quarterback on track, though.
And, you know, talking to the offensive staff of Kansas State, James Franklin coordinates that offense. He said, believe in your training, which will allow you to make plays. And when you do that, I think you're going to start to see this football team settle down and start making some of those plays.
3-yard run by Patton sets up a 2nd and 7. Freeman play action, throws out of the backfield. And the pass is completed, but again, that slick field is giving these guys fits. And that is Patton, guys, slow to get up. Almost seemed like he did a split there as he lost his footing. As you could see him looking at that groin area. Patton right now grimacing in pain.
I mean, that could be a groin. It could be hamstring. That could be knee. I mean, you start to look at this play and then.
What happens on this play is Courtney Green, the free safety, is coming on a safety blitz. You're coached to never slow down. Play action, you've got quarterback. He hesitates right there. If he doesn't hesitate, he's got a sack. So Courtney Green, you've got to understand the concept of the defense, which is you've got quarterback and nothing else on play action.
Go get him.
So as the Kansas State athletic trainers continue to look at Leon Patton, Kansas State tries to prepare itself for a 3rd and 6 coming up. And we remind you that NFL coaches and the best college seniors come together for the first time at the 2007 Senior Bowl. It's the first major step on the path to the 2007 NFL Draft. The game kicks off Saturday, January the 27th, and it's only right here on NFL Network.
Yeah, that is my favorite week of the year. Senior Bowl.
That's my favorite week of the year.
Mike Mayock territory.
Now,
that's my favorite weekend.
Why is that, man?
Because I get to watch you do your thing.
You know, a couple of years ago, Phillip Rivers lit it up. He became the 4th pick of the draft. Last year was Jay Cutler. He jumped in at number 11. Every year, we get all these surprises.
Well, guys, the end of the first quarter here at the Texas Bowl. Now, the first 15 minutes dominated by Rutgers, who leads Kansas State 14-0. We'll return to Reliance Stadium. After these messages, you're watching the 2006 Texas Bowl on NFL Network. And we welcome you back inside Reliance Stadium. Start of the 2nd quarter. And Rutgers, guys, continuing a theme that we have seen with the Scarlet Knights this season. They have dominated the first quarter of games against their opponents. And that certainly has continued tonight. Kansas State right now with Patton injured prior to that end of quarter play. Has it 3rd down as they throw over the middle. Plenty of room as Freeman finds his man inside Rutgers territory. And finally forced out of bounds as Jordy Nelson, the man over the middle on a crossing route, guys. And there wasn't a defender within 8 yards of him that time.
He slipped and fell. Now, the defender was beat anyway, but he slipped on this turf and fell. Jordy Nelson wide open, and Jordy Nelson's their go-to guy who's been injured on and off all season long.
Real good design of a football play too, Mike. And I like the way the quarterback saw the blitz. He knew it was there was opportunity for contact, but he stood tall in the pocket, got on his toes, threw a very nice football, and you get your receiver out the backside. I mean, that's what you want Kansas State to do. Right now, don't panic. Just stand in there and do things like this.
Well, Freeman doesn't have a chance to panic. They got guys all over his back there. As Freeman, with a defender hanging on his back, literally tries to get it out. And he was able to get it loose. That was Jason McCourty out of Nanuet, New York, on the pressure.
Yeah, and they're bringing everybody. This is Jason McCourty from the top of the screen. He's the starting corner. But look at the strength of the 6'6", 238-pound Freeman. By the way, the guy that threw him down was McCourty's twin brother. So there are 2 McCourtys in the lineup,
oh,
Devin
wow.
and Jason. Devin's the dime. And Greg Schiano is a very aggressive defensive coordinator. He's got no problem bringing the house, but he will always leave a free safety in the hole for security.
So Leon Patton walked off in his own power, still on that Kansas State sideline, and now some movement pre-snap.
You like that, Sterling? You always point the finger when you jump. You always point.
It was him, Ref.
Mel Meekins, the big man out of Westwood, New Jersey, crossing over the line of scrimmage.
Snap. False start.
He was right. He was right. He was on it.
Mel was on to something.
5 yards. Still 2nd down.
It was him, Ref. He did something. I saw him breathe.
He's a guy on tape I love watching. He plays their tilt nose position, 6 feet, 275, so he's undersized. When I put the West Virginia tape on, West Virginia's All-American center, Dan Moses, he got eaten up by Ramel Meekins.
Wow.
This is a tough, explosive kid that's going to be real difficult to handle up front by Kansas State.
Well, guys, that's the 4th penalty already in this game against the Wildcats. On 2nd down and long, they keep it on the ground here. It's Donnie Andrews trying to bounce it outside. And he is close to the original line of scrimmage. They are about 10, 11 yards short of that 1st down marker. Tackle made by Jason McCourty. And Kansas State's going to have to go into the playbook now. They'll be faced with a 3rd and 13, they'll call it. So they're way short of that original line of scrimmage. They mark it at about the 33-yard line.
And I got a feeling you're probably going to get pressure here at 3rd and long.
And you know what? This is a big down for the young quarterback. 3rd and 13, not quite in field goal range, or at least it's a long field goal. Corners are playing some games in press.
They'll go with a bunch formation to the top of your screen. Freeman again under pressure as he throws. That one falls incomplete. Freeman, guys, pressure right in his face as Jamal Westerman, the man applying the pressure.
Now, here's the deal with Rutgers defense. Their coverages are easy to decipher, but who's coming up front? Is it the front 4? They bring in linebackers. Westerman that time, he just handled Greg Wofford.
Yeah, he did.
And I think Jamal Westerman is too much. He's too quick. He's got long arms. He got his hands on Wofford. And Sterling, you could see Wofford, foot quickness-wise, couldn't stay with him.
Yeah, he lost his balance early on, and he was, I mean, at the 3rd step, he was beat right after that.
Guys, Jeff Snodgrass is on for the field goal attempt here. A 49-yard attempt. In his career has 5 kicks of over 50 yards. Rutgers jumps the snap. Snodgrass slips as he kicks it, and despite that, has the distance, and he puts it through.
Now what do you do? Do you take the points off? Do you take the points off the board?
No, because it's not a 1st down.
So you keep the...
There's no question here. As long as it's good and it's a 5-yard penalty, you got to take the points.
Did I just 14? See Snodgrass slip and hit nearly a 50-yard field goal? That was amazing.
Offside on the defense, number 77. That penalty will be declined.
Has to be.
Touchdown.
4th and 8 doesn't do you any good.
Jeff Snodgrass, as well as Jeremy Tony, Rutgers place kick, complaining about this Rutgers field. As you take a look at the penalty, Snodgrass, despite the slick track, able to hammer in a 49-yard field goal. Well, that's a kick that he will never forget.
Well, the only reason I asked Mike, do you take the points off? The only reason I asked
I want to know that.
I got a whole lot of plays for 3rd and 8. I don't have any for 3rd and 13. I don't have any for 3rd and 13.
Let me tell you guys, 3 points, I'm taking it, brother.
Well, guys, now they say offsetting penalties. Apparently the play had been blown dead as the Rutgers player was offside, so they're going to re-kick this.
Okay. So there was no question they weren't allowed to decline the penalty. Play was blown dead.
So you can hear the boos from the Kansas State fans as the public address makes the call.
And here's the key now. Remember, we're seeing guys slipping everywhere. Sterling, you and I talked about it at the top. His plant foot is key. So let's see if he slows it down a little bit. He's got to be just as careful as a defensive back or a wide receiver would with his plant foot.
So Snodgrass on one leg hit it from 49 a minute ago, now from 44 yards out after the Rutgers penalty. The spot is down. This time plenty of distance. And again, he is perfectly through the uprights. So Jeff Snodgrass now 17 of 24 on field goals of the season. And Kansas State finally is on the scoreboard. Rutgers 14 and Kansas State 3. Early 2nd quarter at the 2006 Texas Bowl in Houston. Stay with us. Jeff Snodgrass from 44 yards out gets the Kansas State Wildcats on the scoreboard. Rutgers with a 14-3 advantage. NFL Network is football 24/7. Get inside access to the NFL, including live games and the latest NFL news. And during the offseason, there's exclusive coverage of the scouting combine and NFL training camps. If you don't get NFL Network, log on right now to NFL.com and learn all the details. As we welcome you back live inside Reliant Stadium, downtown Houston, Texas tonight for the inaugural Texas Bowl. Kansas State bringing well over 10,000 fans from Manhattan, Kansas, and all throughout the country. This long alumni association, as we have seen the same from Rutgers as well. Here's Willie Foster from his own end zone. Foster diagonally across the field, busted out past the 20. And Foster down to the 23-yard line, a 24-yard kick return. And guys, again, we'll see the Rutgers offense, and so far the star of the show tonight, in addition to Mike Teal, has been the true freshman out of Miami, Tim Brown, 2 touchdown catches. And Mike, I asked the question before why Brown had only had 4 catches on the season before tonight.
Well, yeah, Mike, tell us.
Well, he explodes because Tequan Underwood, a sophomore that exploded, broke his leg against West Virginia. As we see right there, Ray Rice stopped for no gain, but Tequan Underwood, who was really coming on, broke his leg against West Virginia. They also had 3 upperclassmen get hurt prior to the season at the wide receiver position. So they're being forced to play the young kids. Coach Schiano told me that Tim Brown went 71 yards against West Virginia, and he wanted to get more speed on the field. So when you get him out there with the other true freshman, Kenny Britt, they feel like they can tack the corners on the outside.
Well, Brown's getting a chance tonight, a 49-yard touchdown catch earlier to give him their 14th point of the night. Teal fires over the middle, and that pass behind the intended target there as it falls behind Kenny Britt, who tried to dive back to make the play.
You know, Mike Teal's not going to wow you with arm strength. Not going to wow you with, mobility. He's not going to wow you with these gaudy numbers that we're used to seeing. But what he is he's a winner. 12-3 is their starter at Rutgers. And he'll have throws like that where you have a guy open in a window and throw it at his feet. But that's who he is. And I think now you get a chance to see on 3rd down, he's going to have to make one of those 6 or 8 throws that we talked about early on in the game to keep this drive alive.
4 wide receivers set for Rutgers as James Townsend benches 7 catches on the season into the game. Teal hit as he throws over the middle. It's complete at the 35-yard line. It's Clark Harris, the tight end, the starter. And he has first down yardage for the Scarlet Knights. So Teal, guys, again, doesn't bowl you over with the numbers, but he makes the necessary plays. It's a big 3rd down pass play.
Yeah, and the adjustments by the offensive line, that was a zone blitz. The best defensive end in the Big 12 Conference, Ian Campbell, dropped off in coverage. They brought a linebacker. The adjustment was made by the Rutgers offensive line, giving Teal plenty of time. And remember, Clark Harris, who caught the football, had 136 career receptions coming into the game. So he's a seasoned veteran.
Yes.
He knows where to find the holes in that defense.
And that pass play to Harris goes for 14 yards. By Teal under center. 1st and 10 Rutgers from the 35-yard line. They keep it on the ground to Rice. And Rice finds the seam towards the Rutgers side of the field.
I don't like to
about 5 yards on 1st down.
I don't like to go out on limbs, but I'll go out on a limb and say that if Ray Rice continues to average 7 yards a carry, Kansas State is going to have to come up with some serious scheming defense. I mean, you can't allow this offense to run the football this well, because you're only setting yourself up for more play action pass, more vertical pass, and I mean, your defense is going to be on the field a long time.
Already has been, Sterling.
Yes, they have.
Already they approach 170 yards of total offense as they are facing the 2nd and short. Schiano draws up another run play. And we're going to be talking about this theme all night. A very slick surface as Sterling and Mike were able to walk that field before the game. And guys, we've seen 5 or 6 guys lose their footing so far.
Well, you can't take, okay, now I've seen enough guys slip, and I'm up here, so I know the guys down there have talked about the field and the shoes and the footing. So now I got to revert to a wet field. I'm playing it just like a wet field. Keep my shoulders over my knees, no long steps, no overstriding, so I can put my weight on my plant foot, keep it in the ground so I don't slip.
Cordell Young is into the game in the backfield, a true freshman out of Westville, New Jersey, 5'9", $190. And Teal goes play action. He fakes the draw there. They go a flare pass up the far side, top of your screen. But Kansas State sniffs it out. And Rutgers will have to punt it away on 4th down. They lose 3 yards. As you see some of the players, guys, already going to those longer cleats.
Yeah, before the game, we keep talking about it. I went over to say hello to the defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris, from Kansas State, and Marcus Watts, their free safety, came over, showed both pairs of shoes he brought with him and said, Coach, I don't think they're long enough, either pair. So I think some people are surprised by how slippery it is out there. And Sterling, I'm with you. Now you're under wet field rules will apply for the rest of the game.
Well, guys, there were threats of showers outside, but the retractable roof here at Reliant Stadium is closed right now as Iman Figures takes the punt from there he goes. Here is Figures inside Rutgers territory, and he is gone.
No flag.
Untouched. Figures taking it from about his own 25-yard line. And ladies and gentlemen, Iman Figures, among the most dangerous return men of college football, has put Kansas State right back into this football game.
Right back in it. And you know what? He was going to return this football regardless of where it was. 76 yards. Here's the move. That right there, now I get to use my speed. He was going to return that football regardless of where Rutgers Rutgers defenders were.
And what did we say before the game? Somehow, Yaman was going to figure prominently in the outcome of this football game. And there he is right there. That tilts the field. All of a sudden, it's 14-10 with a made extra point.
Figures, guys, a 78-yard punt return as Jeff Snodgrass is on for the point after. The second punt return touchdown for Figures on the season. He returned 3 kicks for scores during the regular season. And this a brand new football game as Figures breaks one through straight up the center of the field. And he goes untouched, 78 yards to pay dirt. And Rutgers' lead suddenly has shrunk to 4 points. Downtown Houston and inside Reliant Stadium, Yaman Figures, a first-team All-Big 12 selection for his special teams brilliance this season. A 76-yard punt return just prior to the timeout has brought Kansas State back from a 14-0 deficit. They are within 4 points. And with 9:37 left to play in this first half, Kansas State and their fans, guys, finally something to cheer about. And Mike and Sterling, you guys have been prophetic so far. So far, all your pregame points have come into play.
Welcome back to the Kansas State fans who paid to come to the game because they were asleep.
Cordell Young on the return from his own goal line. And Young little move up the near sideline. Well, we've seen some nifty returns on special teams play tonight. So Rutgers will have excellent field position with Mike Teal when we come back. Both teams well represented tonight as Young scampers 45 yards. Rutgers football when we come back. Well, Rutgers had a 14-0 lead to start this game. Kansas State behind a 76-yard punt return by Yaman Figures is right back into it now. A 14-10 game as Mike Teal and the Scarlet Knights take over. Clark Harris, the tight end, resets in motion. On 1st and 10 Rutgers, they line up with Rice and Leonard to the offset eye to the left. They start from their own 43-yard line. Teal play action, fires, completes over the middle, and again it's Harris, the tight end, knocked out of bounds after he picks up a Rutgers first down inside Kansas State territory. Tackle made by the quarterback Joshua Moore.
All right, now both teams are awake now. Now both teams are awake. And I know the All Big East tight end is starting to figure in this game because now you see game planning. There's a throw on first down, got a great return, great field position, come out with a throw on first down, get our big tight end going. Now both teams are awake. Everybody's settled down. I think we got ourselves a football game.
Harris, the 5th-year senior, 27 catches and 2 touchdowns over the season. Gives Rutgers a 1st and 10 from the Kansas State 41-yard line. Teal with the give to Rice. And Rice is inside the 35. Keeps those powerful legs churning as he approaches the 30. And very close, guys, to another Rutgers first down. And again, the right guard Cameron Stevenson, a pulling man.
Right here. Watch him come up here. Cameron Stevenson gets the chip on Archer, the middle linebacker who comes off late to make the play. Stevenson's a guy that was a defensive tackle until this year. They moved him to the offensive side. He's got great balance, great strength. And when I talk to my buddies that are pro scouts, they all think he's a sleeper. But just because they're all talking about him tells me he hadn't slept any longer.
You know what, and to go along with that, you know, and we always like to give a great running back all the credit, and then we say his offensive line is pretty good, or great offensive line all the credit, and say the running back's pretty good. We haven't talked about Ray Rice's patience, because right there when he cut back, he stayed right on the inside hip of his pulling guard and just allowed, I mean, the tackle to do his job. And, I mean, now we got a 2nd and 1.
And you know what, Sterling, that's a great point, because a lot of young running backs, you know, their mind doesn't catch up with their feet. And here you see a guy who's patient, even inside, which is hard to be. That was a really good point and a great job by that young man.
Yeah, Rice so far, guys, 10 carries, 70 yards. And we are still first half here at the Texas Bowl. Teal under center. They were short of the first down. 2nd and inches. They pitched to Rice, but he is stopped dead in his tracks as they lose yardage, and now it'll be 3rd down and short coming up. Kansas State gets the nice penetration. Rob Jackson, the defensive end, the first man there.
Yeah, here he is up here, and also Zach Dials right there from inside out. So you had Dials filling from the inside, and a good job stacking the point by Jackson.
Jackson, the junior out of West Haven, Connecticut. Had 4.5 sacks on the season. That time playing the run very well. And Rutgers right now faced with a 3rd down and 3. They marked the football at the K-State 34-yard line. Lone setback is Brian Leonard, the fullback, lining up behind Teal. Teal drops straight back, completes near side, inside the 30, and there is the star of the night so far for the Rutgers offense, Tim Brown. Already 2 touchdown plays, and he has a Rutgers first down at the 25-yard line.
So I got 4 catches before this bowl game. I got 3 catches during this bowl game. Tim Brown is just, Christmas is still coming to him, obviously.
What did you say when he was warming up before the game?
3 catches, 72 yards.
You were saying, man, he's dropping the ball in pregame.
I said, is it going to get better with coverage?
I'm thinking he's nervous.
Cordell Young lines up in the backfield. The man in motion for Rutgers towards the bottom of your screen. There is Teal. Plenty of time to throw. Flushes out of the pocket. And he completes there back to the original line of scrimmage. Leonard, the fullback, makes the catch. And Leonard, guys, very effective as a pass-catching running back over the course of the season. Brandon Archer, the outside linebacker on the tackle. The first-team All-Big 12 defensive player for Kansas State.
That might be the slowest slow screen I think I've ever seen. And
well, that's because, and let's be honest, I mean, they saw it coming.
Yes.
Defensive lineman get out in front. Brandon Archer, who's an undersized senior linebacker. All I know is when I put on tape to him, I don't care that he's undersized, I don't care that he's slow. He makes plays.
He shows up. You don't have to look for him, he shows up.
Listed at 6 feet, 240 pounds. Here is Teal on second down and long. They give to Leonard, who finds a small space inside the 20. Boy, Leonard so versatile as that fullback for Rutgers. Can catch it, can run it. There's a solid blocker, guys, for Greg Schiano as well, as Rutgers will be faced with a 3rd and about 4 coming up.
He won an award called the Dratty Award this year, which is given by the National Football Foundation and Hall of Fame to the top scholar athlete in the entire country, and that was won by Brian Leonard. He's a graduate. He's a real good football player, kept his mouth shut, sublimated himself for the good of the team, and that's one of the main reasons they're 10-2.
Teal out of the shotgun on 3rd and 4, slings it near side, and it's off target. As Rutgers now will have a decision to make with Greg Schiano. It'll be 4th down and 3. Ball spotted at the 19-yard line.
We have a player from Rutgers keeping his mouth shut in the state of Texas. Interesting. But I look at Greg Schiano, and he's got to be pleased with what he's seeing right now. I know he's gotten down right around inside the red zone and going to have an attempt for a field goal, but he has to be pleased with the patience his offense has showed. Good balance, both run and pass.
He's not happy with his special teams. I guarantee you that. That changed the football game right there. You go back to the Louisville game. Louisville gashed him on a return touchdown also. That's not like a Greg Schiano team.
Jeremy Ito on for the 36-yard field goal. And it is no good.
How about the judge pulling one left? That looked like one of my drives there, Sterling.
Wow. So Ito, 19 of 24 before that field goal on the season on 3-point attempt drives. It was wide on that shot. And so the score remains Rutgers 14 and Kansas State 10. So the momentum clearly swinging in the Wildcats' favor. A reminder coming up on the college football halftime report presented by Vonage. Fran Charles, Rod Woodson, and Jamie Dukes will have all the scores from today's other bowl games around college football, plus an interview with Giants quarterback Eli Manning and a preview of our Saturday night showdown between the Giants and Redskins right here on NFL Network. It's all coming up on our halftime coverage from our NFL Network studios. And there is the starting running back, guys, for Kansas State. Leon Patton had to leave the game earlier, lost his footing. Looked like he sustained either a groin or some kind of a leg injury. Trying to get that blood flowing again.
Yeah, understand the significance. Here's a kid, a true freshman that had 301 total yards against Oklahoma State. So when you take him out of the offense, you take a big chunk out of that Kansas State offense.
You lose a lot of your explosiveness, and that's what this K-State offense wants to be.
In Patton's absence, it is James Johnson in the backfield as Freeman completes on 1st down, but they don't complete for much yardage there as Rutgers had it covered. It's Ron Geralt on the coverage and the tackle, right back at the original line of scrimmage.
Okay, let's critique the freshman. You know, number one, Freeman throwing the football. There's an opportunity versus a blitz. You got tight coverage. He throws the ball on the back shoulder. Gets his receiver blown up. That's one of those things that'll come. That's a maturation process that this young man, I believe, will get there and get there very quickly.
First half passing numbers tonight for Josh Freeman, who lines up under center. 2nd and 10 K-State from their own 20-yard line. Freeman goes draw play, and again Rutgers defensively has it covered. As this time the Scarlet Knights dump K-State for a loss of yardage as Quintero Frierson, the tackler for Rutgers.
We talked about Meekins. He's going to take on a double team here outside. Now watch the fill from the backside. Frierson. That's team football. Your defensive tackle takes up 2. Westerman holds the point. The backside linebacker gets the cutback. Great team defense.
Dime defense on the field now, so you know it's going to be some cute movement coming third and long.
Third down and 12 they call it. Freeman again under pressure, and again Rutgers for a third straight play, dumping down that K-State ball carrier right after the completion. And on 4th down and way long, K-State will have to punt it away.
This cannot go on all night. Wow. I mean, this is a screen pass. They're trying to get outside 3rd and long, and Rutgers is all over it.
Sterling, I told you that the biggest advantage I thought in this entire game was Rutgers' speed, especially defensively.
Yes, yes.
And that's certainly been the case so far.
That was Devon Thompson with the hard smackdown for Rutgers defensively. Willie Foster signals for a fair catch. And again, Rutgers will have good field position to start their next drive from their own 36-yard line. Rutgers by 4 here in Houston. 2007 Scouting Combine. Watch NFL Network's exclusive coverage of this intense 4-day job interview coming this February. It's only right here on NFL Network. Kansas State guys selling about 14,000 seats for tonight's game. Rutgers at about 10,000 for tonight's game. And a very loud atmosphere so far as Rutgers takes over possession. Ryan Leonard lines up as the low setback behind Teal. Rutgers with a 14-10 lead. Teal drops back to throw. Under pressure, he leads a couple of would-be sackers as Teal, guys, shows you the versatility and that mobility there out past the 40. A couple of penalty markers down on the field. Brandon Archer eventually make the tackle, and this one coming back.
Holding, number 53 on the offense. 10 yards, previous spot. Replay first down.
You know, very rarely do you get an opportunity to see a lineman get his money's worth on a hold. Huh? Look at that. Little piggyback. I mean, if you go hold, I say hold.
Hey, he goes in the stat book twice there.
Yes.
Not only for the penalty, but he's going to get a tackle credited for also on defense.
Well, also, guys, if you know you're going to be called for a hold, you don't want your quarterback to get hurt, so tackle the guy around his ankles, put him on the ground.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? For a lot of football fans watching, you're probably saying, wow, it seems like Rutgers has had the football all night, gone up and down the field, but here we still have a 14-10 ball game. Rutgers is not explosive. They want to keep it like this and then wear you down with this guy carrying the football right here.
Ray Rice, minimal yardage on first down after the Rutgers penalty. Tackle made by the combination of Justin Rowland and Brandon Archer. A 3-yard run play by Rice.
You know, and let's give Kansas State some credit
here.
Yes. You know, because Kansas State is hanging in this football game, and Ron Prince, the aggressive young coach, I think he's the reason why. Yeah, Ray Rice's numbers are great.
Yep.
Teal's numbers are pretty good, but this guy right here has got them believing they're a good football team, and all of a sudden it looks like Rutgers is going to run away. It's not happening.
Yep, you're exactly right.
And Mike Mayock, your wild card, Yamon Figures busted out that 76-yard punt return for a touchdown.
I gave him.
Oh, was that you, Sterling?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I gave
Sterling
like
Sharp's wild card. I beg your pardon. Rutgers calls a timeout. Rutgers trying to figure out what they want to run here, guys, on 2nd down and long. And we remind you again, coming up, the college football halftime report presented by Vonage. Our good buddies Fred Charles, Rod Woodson, and Jamie Dukes back in our NFL Network studio. Standing by, they'll have all the scores from today's other college bowl games, plus an interview with Giants quarterback Eli Manning and a preview of our Saturday night NFL Network showdown between the Giants and Redskins in our nation's capital.
Jamie Dukes has got a suit that he wears on that show. It reminds me of a couch I had in college.
I'm in awe of Jamie Dukes and his wardrobe.
You know what? Jamie Dukes, my old teammate. I got a chance to play with him in Green Bay. Wonderful teammate to have. Outstanding dresser for a big man. Outstanding dresser.
Well, what's with the qualification for a big man?
Well, the fact that there's material out there for my boy. There's material out there for Jamie to make nice quality suits.
Well, guys, he touched on the time of possession as we take a look at Yamon Figures, who electrified the Kansas State fans earlier in the second quarter with that long 76-yard punt return. And when you get that kind of special teams play, you don't really need time of possession, as we have a very close ball game right now. Rutgers over 17 minutes in time of possession.
You know, I spoke with Ron Prince for almost 2 hours the other night. He was great. He's a little bit of a philosopher, very intellectual guy. He made a comment to me. I said, philosophically, what are you as a coach? He said, Mike, I'm going to quote the great naval commander, John Paul Jones. He who will not risk will not win. And that goes all the way through what he does. Special teams, faking a punt on his own 9-yard line against Nebraska. This is a guy whose young team believes in their young coach.
Well, Ron Prince, Big 12 Coach of the Year candidate in year 1 with Manhattan, Kansas. His defense trying to hold their ground here on 2nd and long, and they do just that. As Teal guys, again, barely able to hold his footing as he hands off to Ray Rice. Tackle made by Stephen Klein, the Florida native. Also Brandon Archer there, and Archer, guys, has been all over the place so far. And you can see from both sidelines they are bringing out the plastic.
You got a timeout here. Remember, it's 1:44 left in the half. Rutgers in a long, 3rd and long situation. Ron Prince wants to get the football back and give his young team another opportunity to put points on the board before halftime.
At worst case, be down 1 going into halftime. With all the fireworks that Rutgers has had with the new guy, Tim Brown, coming in, scoring 2 touchdowns, be down 1 or a chance to go in with the lead. I like the aggressive nature of Ron, how he calls and sees a football game. I love it.
How often, you and I talk to football coaches all the time, how often do we get quoted by like great philosophers outside of the Vince Lombardi thing?
Yeah, we don't get that very often.
We don't get a whole lot of naval commanders.
No, we really don't.
Ron Prince coming from a different level, guys, as we take a look at that young man, Tim Brown, the true freshman out of Miami, Florida, the catalyst for Rutgers offensively tonight.
Great block by Townsend, springs him out to the edge, runs 4.27. You know at that point it's all over. But we're not all done here. Single high safety. They're going to take advantage. Corner, but McKinney doesn't get out of his back pedal. Sterling, that's too easy, isn't it?
That's way too easy. And you know what? I think that's going to be their. That's
got to go back to that,
the rest of the night. Yes. You got to kind of stay aggressive in a game like this. It looks like you're going to get bump and run, single high safety. Could be an opportunity to take a shot again.
Rutgers guys 3rd and long. They are 3 of 6 tonight so far on 3rd down conversions. Teal works out of the shotgun. 4 wide receivers for Greg Schiano. Teal has time. Throws near side. It's complete. And that is enough for a Rutgers 1st down. It's Kenny Britt forcing his way inside Kansas State territory. And he's finally brought down at about the 47-yard line.
That's throw number 2 that Mike Teal has made of my 6 or 8 throws that he had to make in this game. That's throw number 2.
And the beauty of that was that the true freshman made his break at the sticks. It was 3rd and about 14. He made the break at the sticks to get the 1st down.
And Mike Teal threw it early as well.
22 yards through the air. Here's Teal out of the shotgun. Again, that pass a little bit too low as it falls incomplete at the Kansas State 35-yard line. The intended target, James Townsend, couldn't get down low enough for it.
And a lot of people may not like that throw, but as a receiver, I love that throw.
Especially because the corner was falling back inside.
And he saw it, and he tried to protect his wide receiver.
Exactly. Back shoulder.
You know, I talked about 6 or 8 throws that he's going to have to make, not only on 3rd and long like he just did a few plays ago, but the touchdown throws that he's made. If he continues to play this way, Rutgers their offense is on schedule when he does things just like this.
Well, Teal did not have a good interception to touchdown ratio during the season tonight. Certainly sparkling in that department. 2 touchdowns, no picks up to this point. Teal covers a lot of ground with that pass, but it falls way short. And Sterling, I'm not sure you would have liked that pass.
Okay, you're right.
You get down low enough for it.
But you know what? Young guy, sophomore quarterback, young guy, and it's exactly what we thought we were going to get. You know, I love the phrase of people being exactly who we think they are. Well, Mike Teal is exactly who we think he is. He's a guy that can make those throws, or he's a guy that'll wow you with 2 throws. You go, wow, that was impressive. And then you go, wow, why did he throw that one?
Guys, Stephen Klein is the injured Kansas State defensive player being tended to by the Wildcats trainers, and we'll get a timeout as Klein is looked at. A 3rd and 10 upcoming for Rutgers when we come back. Well, Stephen Klein able to walk off in his own power. The Wildcats starter tonight at the nose tackle position. Mike Quentin Eccles, their usual starter at that position, was already injured, so they're very thin up front defensively.
Yeah, they might have to kick Blake Seiler over, who's an undersized tackle to start with, let alone to play the nose. Right now, though, they're in their 30 package, which is their dime with 2 deep safeties.
So good play here for Mike Teal and Rutgers on 3rd down and long. Teal out of the shotgun. Hit as he throws.
Oh, there's the
play. The face mask. He finds the tight end Harris deep inside K-State territory.
That'll be throw number 3 of my 6 to 8
How did Teal even get that one off? He had the hand in his face, jarred his helmet down to the ground.
Hey, they rushed 3, they dropped 8. Sterling, great touch pass here.
Yes, it was. Steps up in the pocket. Trust.
You wasn't even looking. You got to be kidding me.
Trust his lineman to get the job done. Throws it to the big tight end, rumbling down the sideline. Right back at the edge of the red zone again.
Are you kidding me with that throw? Are you kidding me? Clark Harris having a big day, but that throw was phenomenal.
Well, you talk about timing and knowing where your receivers are supposed to be on the field. A 26-yard pass play as Teal works to get out of the shotgun on first down. Teal has plenty of time. His pass sails too high, intended for Harris to get over the middle.
He is what he is. I mean, that last pass was so good, but understand that was miscommunication. His receiver sat down. The pocket was intact. He expected Harris to continue across, and he did.
I could be wrong, but I think Mike Teal could be perfect in this game.
Let's check it out here. Harris coming up. Yeah, well, the corner's trying to come back underneath James Townsend there, but he might have been able to throw that up there deep in the corner, but
I wouldn't advise that.
Yeah, that's one where if you underthrow it, you got a problem.
Well, Schiano working guys almost exclusively now out of the shotgun formation. Brian Leonard is the lone setback standing to Teal's left. Teal has time, throws a fade pass towards the end zone, but it's incomplete as they had James Townsend covered well. There was Byron Garvin on the tight coverage there. Townsend sandwiched by those DBs of the Wildcats.
It's not like Rutgers doesn't have guys open. It's just that they're making the guys that are open are tougher throws for Mike Teal to make.
And this is a tight bunch set. What's going to happen is Tim Brown's wide open here. They get the vertical that he tries to hit. I think he predetermined where we're going with the football. Throw it away. Look at that touchdown if he hits number 2 and leads them properly. In the
run out the backside.
Yeah, over.
Rutgers guys has run 34 total plays as they call a timeout. 16 have been pass plays. So a team noted for its run game with Ray Rice has kind of flipped the script so far on K-State, and so far it's worked.
But that's just being a smart coaching staff, because we all know, sitting up here, we talked to the coaches all week and broke down film and got a chance to study both these teams. We knew Kansas State was going to be an 8-man front 90% of the time when Rutgers lined up on offense. So that means you're going to have one-on-ones on the outside. And we saw a touchdown pass before 49 yards when you get single high safety 8-man front. So I think that, you know, what you got is the chess match is can I put my guys in a better position if I'm Kansas State than you can put your guys in a position if you're Rutgers.
Ron Prince talking to his free safety there. Texas, you rooting for Texas there, young man? Burnt orange?
He's confused.
A little bit.
He's confused.
A little bit.
Well, Rutgers has dominated the stat sheet up to this point. 11 first downs in the game for the Scarlet Knights, just 3 for Kansas State. But again, that X factor that we touched on, Yamon figures that 76-yard punt return has made this just a 4-point football game right now with inside a minute left to play in the second quarter.
Hey, guys, points on the board. That's what this drive's about. We already know Rutgers has dominated this football game from a yardage perspective.
Yes.
However, Ito hooks one, misses a 3-point opportunity. Ball's on the 20-yard line with 59 seconds. Points on the board. You can't afford to go into halftime with Ito missing one or an interception or a fumble. Points on the board.
Greg Schiano, Jeremy Ito look on. Teal again out of the shotgun. Leonard is the lone setback. 4 wide receivers
man
on
coverage.
Fade pass near side end zone. It's incomplete. As Teal tries to thread the needle. Tight coverage by Joshua Moore. Kenny Britt went up high for it. It'll be 4th down and long.
This is a freshman on a freshman, Sterling.
Freshman on a freshman, and the receiver does an awful job. He's got to get inside. He has to get inside of the defensive back, get his big body between the back line and the football. With his height, he should be able to go up, make that catch, and bring it in for a touchdown.
I think he was thinking, I'm 6'4", he's 5'10", I'm going over the top. Didn't happen.
Exactly.
Well, Britt got lazy with it, and now Ito is on, who missed from 36 yards out earlier in the quarter. On now to attempt from 37. Spot is down. Ito has plenty of leg, and this time he is through the uprights. So Rutgers able to push to a touchdown lead again at 17-10. Kansas State They're able to cut it to a 4-point game after trailing by 14 points after that first quarter. So with 49 seconds left in the second, a 17-10 Rutgers lead. Again, the first ever meeting between these two universities. Kansas State trying to finish their year at 8-5. Rutgers, meantime, has won 11 games, guys, just one other time in the 137-year history of their football program. A perfect 11-0 season that Mike referenced earlier back in 1978.
Keep in mind,
amazing story, both of these football programs, how far they've come.
Kind of keep in mind the culture that Schiano had to change when he came here. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's coming in on the heels of a coach who went 11-44 in the 5 years before him, Terry Shea, and just years and decades.
Yes.
Greg Schiano has taken, not only in one football games, he's changed the culture for a college, a university, and a state.
And you know what? When you talk about Rutgers football, it's not just a New Jersey team, and it's not just a New York team. They had some of the highest ratings on networks that covered their game, some of the highest ratings in college football this year because of the excitement that that man has brought to Rutgers and the things that they were able to do in the Big East.
And take it a step further, he had a chance to go back, and there's figures again. He had a chance to go back to Miami, where he came from as a defensive coordinator. He turned that job down. Very high-profile job where they're going to pay him a lot of money because he believes he can win a national championship, folks. Believe it or not, in Piscataway, New Jersey, he's right now, his agent is negotiating with the university to extend him, and let's hope they take care of him.
But let me ask you this. How many people would disagree with me in saying that Rutgers may have more talent than the U? I mean, how many people would stand by that statement?
There is Figures now. That works the middle of the field to the 20-yard line. Schiano, of course, voted the Home Depot National Coach of the Year. Born and bred in New Jersey, the 40-year-old head man, just a remarkable coaching job as he has resurrected this program, guys. A laughing stock in college football for so many years, and now they are a national player as they come in tonight ranked 16th in the country. And Schiano has this team really on the cusp of being something very special in college football.
And you know, right there at the bottom, I was going to write the Sterling Sharp Coach of the Year as well, that he was, because he did an outstanding job, and nobody gave him enough credit until this year of the job he did turning his football team around.
Guys, we should point out one of the rule changes in college football this year, the clock starting right after that kick. And so the game shortened up here a little bit. Kansas State with now inside 20 seconds left. And it does not look like the Wildcats are going to slow this thing down. They are content to go into the locker room down 7 after trailing 14-0 to start this game. Yamon Figures a 76-yard punt return to make it a 14-10 game. And then Jeremy Ito from 36 yards out with a field goal to make it 17-10 Rutgers. And Ron Prince, guys, has to be pleased after that slow start. That's the end of the first half. Again, Rutgers 17, Kansas State 10. Right now, let's join Fran Charles, Rod Woodson, and Jamie Dukes with the College Football Halftime Report presented by Vonage. Our halftime stats from the first half presented by Nissan. 7-point Rutgers advantage, guys. The first downs and really the entire stat sheet heavily in the favor of Rutgers over the first 2 quarters.
And I think the only reason we thought, or
hard to make any kind of yardage, any kind of points when your offense has the ball for 20 plays.
Excellent point.
Well, again, Kansas State and Rutgers getting together for the first time ever tonight in the inaugural Texas Bowl. And great crowd here, great atmosphere inside Reliant Stadium. And we are still, guys, trying to get an update on Leon Patton. We saw him warming up late in that second quarter, had to leave the game in that first half with what looked like a groin/leg injury, lost his footing. As Yamon Figures and Kansas State will receive the kick to start the second half. Justin McKinney is also back deep.
They are the #1 kickoff return team in the country. They have 3 kickoff return touchdowns. Yamon Figures doesn't have any of them. Leon Patton has 1. Justin McKinney has 1. James Johnson has 1. Point of emphasis for Schiano. Shut down the kickoff return. And Sterling, that's the quickest way to do it.
That's the best way to do it.
And the Judge, the nickname for Jeremy Ito, gets some pretty good leg on it towards the back of the end zone. So K-State with a touchback. And they will take over from their own 20-yard line to start this third quarter. And again, we mentioned, guys, Rutgers dominant over their opponents in the first quarter of games this season. K-State certainly knows that. And now again, it goes back to the chess match between these two very young, talented coaches. Greg Schiano, just 40 years of age, against his 37-year-old counterpart tonight, Ron Prince. And let's see what both men drew up in the halftime locker rooms. As Leon Patton, guys, is in the football game to start the second half. And here K-State will go through the air on first down. Pass is intercepted by Rutgers. Inside the 20, it's Frierson into the end zone. Touchdown.
That's what they did not need.
And you know what? First turnover of the whole football game. First snap of the second half. The young quarterback forced it into coverage. This is so clear sitting up here. You can't make this throw. He's coming back the other way. I know his feet slipped. I understand that. But both linebackers were there. If Frierson doesn't get it, Devon Thompson gets it.
That was a mistake that may end up being of Olympic proportion, because Kansas State had stayed around and hung around in this football game. And you know what? And I was getting ready to say before this happened, I'm waiting to see what the Kansas State identity is going to be. We saw Rutgers running the football, play action pass, throw the big ball over the top. That's the extra point is good right there. But I wanted to see how Kansas State was going to come out and see what their identity was going to be. You know they were going to come out and try to throw the football. You didn't need a mistake at that point.
Terrell Frierson, a 27-yard pick return for a score. And that is his first interception of the season, guys. And we touched on Freeman, a guy when he has to play from behind, takes chances and he makes mistakes as he throws his 14th interception of the season, just 6 touchdowns during the regular campaign. And that puts K-State behind the 8-ball guys very early in the second half, a 24-10 Rutgers advantage.
Yeah, there's a great stat. Kansas State is 7-0 when they lead at half. They're 0-5 when they trail at halftime. So coming out, trailing at halftime, making a bad decision like that does not bode well for the Cats.
But you said that Freeman is a guy that has a very short memory. So
you know what? Sterling, I like the term that Ron Prince used. The term he used was that he's emotionally neutral. And if you're basically, to me, that means he doesn't have a conscience.
Right.
And that's a good thing for a quarterback. You can, and a cornerback. But in this sense, he's got to keep coming out because they're going to have to throw the football. He can't be afraid to continue to make throws.
Josh Freeman, the true freshman out of Kansas City, just 18 years of age, took over at halftime of their Big 12 conference opener against Baylor. A game that they would go on to lose, but certainly a turning point of their season, taking over for the veteran Dylan Meyer in front of him. And let's see how Freeman responds now as Ito line drives one through the back of the end zone. Leon Patton watches it sail through, and another touchback for Freeman and K-State. So Rutgers guys able to reclaim a 14-point lead in this game. And we are still in the opening minute of the second half.
There you go. So far, I like what Rutgers has done. Judge Ito has kicked it out of the end zone twice. An interception for a touchdown. All the momentum right now with the Scarlet team.
And you cannot continue, if you're Kansas State, to play uphill football. You can't keep telling your guys, hang in there, hang in there, hang in there.
Patton again lines up as the lone setback behind Freeman. On 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Heavy pressure up the center.
Oh.
And that pass incomplete from Freeman. Boy, put it right in the breadbasket. It was Devon Thompson, the man who shot right over center that time, was in Freeman's face.
And if you're going to play tailback at Kansas State, you got to pass protect. Watch the block right there. Gets him on the knees. That looks great, but Freeman's got a clean pocket. Jordy Nelson, how about catching the football right in your hand? The tailback did his job. The quarterback did his job. The wide receiver dropped.
You know, I like to say all the time that when you're a great player, you want to be a great player, you don't get to dictate the situations you're going to be great in. That was a situation where their #1 guy is supposed to come through for him.
Freeman again under pressure. This time he's wrapped up, and a sack by that Rutgers defense. As Jamal Westerman got his arms around Freeman, brought him down. And suddenly K-State, guys, is reeling right now, as we have played just over a minute here in the third quarter.
Yeah, and Coach Schiano told me, that he thought Westerman would have a big game because of his explosion off the football and his quickness, and he's given Greg Wofford all he can handle. From the backside, quarterback never saw him.
First sack tonight for either team. Westerman had 6 sacks during the regular season. Freeman goes play action, did not sell it very strongly. Third down, pump fakes. He eludes one tackler inside the 20, takes a hit at the 26. And he's brought down about 7 yards shy of the first down marker. So Kansas State unable to move the change. It was Devin McCourty on the tackle. And on fourth down, Rod Prince will have to punt it away.
Is this too early for a fake punt in your own territory?
I
he
told
did it from
you,
his 9.
he did it from his 9-yard line against Nebraska and picked up a first down. You know, I think he's going to punt the football as he sees. Look at the Rutgers. They're playing their 4-3. They're playing protect because they know what Ron Prince will do.
Well, we know Prince likes the gamble, but that would have been a death wish.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
Been back deep in his own territory like that. As Tim Rayer punts it away. Fair catch by Willie Foster. A 40-yard punt by Rayer. And Kansas State suddenly in the driver's seat, back up 14 here in downtown Houston. And a look there at Westerman on the sack. Rutgers back in control here at the Texas Bowl. Well, Rutgers faithful feeling very confident right now as the Scarlet Knights back in front by 2 touchdowns. And as if things haven't gotten bad enough here early second half for Kansas State. Yamon Figures had a big punt return touchdown early in the game, leaving the field. We'll try to get an update on his status as quickly as we can. Mike Teal and the Scarlet Knights under center. Ray Rice on the take inside the 40. He's out past the 45-yard line, bouncing inside K-State territory. And guys, this plays right into Rutgers' hands now. They can kind of lean on this lead and establish Ray Rice again.
They're not explosive, they're pounders, and they just want to lean on you and lean on you and lean on you and lean on you. And remember, that 8th man in the box for Kansas State, we can't block him. Ray Rice, that's your guy. You got to find a way to make that guy attack you from the side. And look at it, 14 for 96. And remember, in the fourth quarter, his average goes up from 5'2" to 5'9" in the fourth quarter. So he only gets stronger the more carries he gets.
22-yard rush by Rice. Third most rushing yards in college football with the last 2 seasons. And now Mike Teal is going to use the timeout. Interesting spot for a timeout for Rutgers. Mike Teal doesn't want to make any mistakes. As we'll get a timeout. Rutgers 24, Kansas State 10. Welcome back inside of Reliance Stadium where Rutgers has reestablished itself. And this is one of the slowest moving third quarters we have seen in recent memory. A lot of penalties, a lot of stoppages here. As Rutgers with the interception return earlier by Frierson, a 27-yard play to reestablish a 2-touchdown lead. Teal after the timeout called a minute ago, lines up under center. Tim Brown sprints in motion. First and 10 Rutgers. Again Rice, and again plenty of real estate inside the 25. And Rice is over 100, and he has pushed Rutgers' lead to a 30-10 differential. A 46-yard burst by Rice. And this game bust wide open by Rutgers.
Yeah, and that was a linebacker blitz from the backside. Watch him make one guy miss right there. And then the free safety barely gets a hand on. That's a poor job by Marcus Watts. But Sterling, you've been saying it all day. Make the 8th guy miss. He made a miss at the line of scrimmage, made a move on the free safety. It's great time.
And, you know, when you look at Kansas State's defense, you know, in that timeout, I was watching Kansas State's defense, and I was saying to myself, they're out of their comfort zone. And I was looking at Rutgers' offense standing in the huddle, getting ready to come out of that timeout, and I was like, this is exactly where they want to be. And now they got Ray Rice. He's over 100 yards. He's got a touchdown. And let me tell you something. Usually when Ray Rice and this offensive line take over like they did on that play, usually it's Katie bar the door. Rutgers 31, Kansas State 10.
All right, Rutgers so far here over the first 3 minutes, 19 seconds of this second half has made quick work of Kansas State thanks to the powerful legs of that young man, Ray Rice. A 46-yard touchdown sprint a minute ago. The 20th rushing touchdown of the season.
Averaging almost 10 yards a carry. First play of the game, he jumped out of the gate. It's been like that ever since. And let's not forget, it's Ray time in the fourth quarter. That's when he's at his best, when he wears down defenses. So Greg Schiano, he's got him right where he wants him.
There's Leon Patton from about 5 yards deep in his own end zone. Patton, a nice cutback. He's out past the 20 to the 30-yard line. Patton still on his feet. He's forced towards that far sideline inside Rutgers territory. And that's exactly what the Wildcats needed to breathe some kind of life into their sideline.
And you know, when you watch Ray Rice run, he's very compact, he's very sure of the hole, and he's very explosive in the hole and through it. He's very patient at the line of scrimmage, but he has outstanding vision, and he believes in making people miss. Every run doesn't have to have contact at the ends of it, but does a very nice job of feeling, finding, and finishing right here on this 46-yard touchdown run. And we talked about
3 Fs, huh?
We talked about the fourth quarter is all his. Well, Kansas State is going to have to come up with a big play or two of their own to keep Ray Rice from taking this football game over.
Josh Freeman with the give on first down. So the Wildcats changing philosophy here. We've seen a lot of passing on first downs tonight. James Johnson, the ball carrier, inside Rutgers territory to the 46-yard line.
You know, as we talk about Ray Rice, keep in mind, historically, he's not been a guy with a lot of 20-plus yard runs. You look at Steve Slayton in West Virginia, he bursts and goes. This guy gained over 1,600 yards. They were mostly tough yards, making people miss, 6, 8, 10 yards at a chunk. At only 5'9", 195, he's a tough guy.
Yes, he is.
Johnson takes the pitch, but the play whistle dead. A couple of markers at opposite ends of the field.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 83, offense 5 yards, still second down.
Our lead referee tonight, Jeff Flanagan, makes the call. And Kansas State guys has had issues with penalties all night.
Well, just out of their comfort zone. I mean, they're explosive. They're fun. They'll throw it around. They'll move around. They're very athletic on offense. And you know, you look at Rutgers in the Big East style football. They're a lunch pail. Let's hit you in the mouth and see how you react. And what you're starting to see is identities are starting to take shape and form. If you can't be explosive, then you're going to get hit in the mouth. Kind of like we see Josh Freeman escaping right there. Looks like another penalty, a holding penalty, which is going to make it second and even longer. So you're starting to see these two teams play like they have all season long. And for Kansas State, being in this situation is not good.
And I love Greg Schiano's defensive pressure package. He's got them right where he wants them, both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Number 69 on the offense, 10 yards, still second down.
They were in a man-free coverage on that last package, bringing pressure up the middle. Left guard Caleb Handy forced to hold. Everything going wrong for K-State.
Let me ask you this. Are you surprised with the athleticism and speed of Kansas State that they're not more vertical? It seems like they're so afraid of the zone blitz that they're trying to hit, you know, a lot more crossing routes than vertical routes.
But they haven't been able to protect their quarterback. Almost everything's a tight punch set with a crossing route. They can't go back 5 step, 7 step and get it 18 to 22 yards down the field.
Freeman here on second and way long. That pass falls incomplete. That last penalty, guys, the 6th against K-State tonight, totaling 45 yards. That and the fact that they're staring down the barrel of a 21-point deficit right now. Ron Prince is going to have to coach his rear end off here to get these guys back in the game.
1 of 6 on third downs, which means you're putting your defense on the field for a lot more snaps. Third, and I mean, I played offense in the National Football League for 7 years, and those 4 years in college. There's not a lot of plays for third and 6 miles. There's not a lot you can call here. When you can't protect your quarterback on 1st and 10, it's hard to protect him on 3rd and 21. So you run a toss out the boundary side.
Well, Johnson just trying to chew up some of the yardage back, unable to do so. Barely gets back to the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 21. And guys, this game has gotten ugly in a hurry. It was a 17-10 game at halftime. Rutgers had a 7-point lead. First play from scrimmage in the 3rd quarter. The interception by Freeman, returned by Frierson, 27 yards for a touchdown. Big run play for the score by Rice. And at the blink of an eye, this a 3-touchdown differential.
Man and Pop were in the stands going, well, why did we run the ball 3rd down?
Well, a lot of fair catching tonight by Willie Foster. Rutgers hasn't needed much from him on the punt return game. Well, Ray Rice is making his presence felt tonight over the century mark already. Had a long 46-yard touchdown burst earlier as Rutgers has opened up a 31-10 lead here at the Texas Bowl. We remind you, Sunday night, Steve Mariucci and Deion Sanders join host Rich Eisen to give you the complete NFL playoff picture. Who's in, who's out. Spend New Year's Eve watching the best highlight show on television, NFL Game Day, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, only on NFL Network. Guys working overtime as the regular season winds down. Playoffs right around the corner. hard to believe the NFL season is almost over.
It's hard to believe the mediocrity in the NFC. I mean, you could have a team that 7-9 make the playoff, and everything if the bottom falls out, which that's just hard to believe this day and age, free agency and money and all those things.
And only 12 teams make the playoffs, so typically you give the NFL credit for not letting everybody in, but there's so much mediocrity in that NFC.
Giants Redskins, of course, on NFL Network Saturday night as Mike Teal and Rutgers take over.
Play action wide open.
This third quarter. Teal floats one into the hands of his tight end Harris as he approaches the 50-yard line. Boy, Rutgers has everything going right now. That is a demoralized K-State sideline, down 21 points.
Yeah, and that play action just completely sucked up the whole weak side of the Kansas State defense. Joshua Moore is a true freshman corner. Harris, who runs about a 4.8 40, got in behind the corner without a problem. I mean, great play action. You're thinking Ray Rice. Watch, boom. Uh-oh, where am I going? My first responsibility is pass, not run. That's not going to be a lot of fun in the tape room next week, Sterling.
Son, if we wanted you in the backfield, we'd made you a running back.
33-yard pass play to the tight end Harris. Here is Rice again, that burst of speed towards the outside. Inside Wildcats territory down to the 46-yard line.
And that's what this Rutgers football team offensively does to you. They force you to pay attention to the running game, and now we got everybody trying to rally at the running point, rally at the running point, rally at the running point. Tight end behind me, I got a 30-yard game. Rally at the running point, rally at the running point. We got a 49-yard touchdown pass, and that's what this offense is designed to do. It's force everyone to play their responsibility. It forces everyone to do what they're supposed to do and not help anybody else out like we just saw in 2 plays ago.
Clock continues to run what has been a long third quarter so far. 7:30 left in the period on 2nd down and 6. Teal and RU keeps it on the ground. It's Rice inside the 40. And it appears as though Rice will have enough for a Rutgers first down, a 7-yard play on the ground. And Rutgers will have a 1st and 10. And guys, the big question coming in, you know, did Schiano do enough to get these guys over that West Virginia hangover? And after that little momentum switch we saw with the Yamon Figures punt return, boy, Rutgers certainly answered the bell here early in the second half.
And I think if you listen to these players, and Mike, you've listened and talked to them more than probably I have, they all use the same words, phrases, mannerisms of their head coach, Greg Schiano.
No question about it. One voice, one guy, and it's the right guy.
Teal has all day to throw, finds his man in the seam there, and look who it is again. It's Tim Brown, a true freshman out of Miami. All the way down to the K-State 10-yard line. He was wide open, and K-State, guys, has no pass rush.
And believe it or not, he was open when the ball was snapped. And he just kept, he'd run into one hole, and he was still open. He would go about another 10 yards, he was still open. He'd go about another 10 yards, he was still open. Mike Teal does a great job stepping up in the pocket, taking the lick. A guy that had 4 catches coming into this game has 4 catches and 100 yards.
For the exact same number. He had 4 for 101 coming in. He's got today 4 for 101.
He's doubled his entire season output with those 2 big touchdowns as well. And where's that K-State sack effort? 8th in the nation in sacks entering this bowl game tonight. What a job that Rutgers front 5 have done, guys.
Yeah. I'll tell you where that sack effort has gone. When you run for 170 yards and you're still in the third quarter, if you don't stop the run, you don't get to rush the passer.
Just shows you how easy this game is, guys.
Let me transfer that to the NFL. If you're the Indianapolis Colts and you got Dwight Freeney, one of the better pass rushers in the National Football League, if you don't stop the run, Dwight Freeney is going to have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 sacks on the season. If you don't stop the run, then you don't get your opportunity to rush the passer.
And you saw that huge discrepancy in total yardage favoring Rutgers right now. As Teal with the handoff to Ray Rice, banged up the middle at the K-State 5-yard line before he's pushed back by a mountain of K-State tacklers. Clock continues to run down to 5 and change left in this third quarter.
And Rutgers just going after him. That was an unbalanced set front side. They only had a guard tackle backside. They're just saying, stop us if you can, because we're coming after you. And then, oh, by the way, we're going for a little play action here and there, and you're not going to be able to stop that.
You know, Kansas State needs to be very careful because their will is being tested right now. Their next season is being tested right now. And the reason I say that is they lost five games. They lost to Louisville, 42 carries, 229 yards that Louisville had. Nebraska, 43 carries, 228 yards. Missouri, 47 carries, 286 yards. You have to be very careful that, you know what, this is what people see of you on film, so this is what teams want to do to you.
And you know what? We talked about Ian Campbell, the defensive end, and what a great football player he's been, the sophomore walk-on from Kansas State. But in a game like this, he becomes non-existent.
Exactly.
Because he's got to now protect run first. He's not as big and strong as he's going to be in a couple years. They're taking advantage of that front four, and they're just pushing him off the football. And I think the word I like the best all day describing Ray Rice was when you said he was patient. And every single one of these runs, he knows when to burst. He knows when to be patient, let that guard get in front. I really like him.
And you know what? A lot of analysts in our business get an opportunity to talk to our fans, and they go, you know, for the young running backs. Forget the young running backs. For the people at home, when you call a run play, every run play is not supposed to be 15 yards, 16 yards, 20 yards, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Sometimes you run a run play to get to 4 yards. Keep the clock moving. That could be 3rd and 4. Keep the chains moving.
And stay on schedule.
Stay right on schedule.
Keep your young quarterback in 3rd and short. Don't put too much pressure on it. And that's what Schiano has done. And that's what this, Craig Versteeg, their offensive coordinator, has done a great job all season long. They stay on schedule. They know what they are.
Well, Rutgers out of the timeout, faced with a 3rd and goal play. Boy, K-State desperately trying to hold its ground here. Already at a 21-point hole. Rutgers is 5 of 9 guys on 3rd down conversions tonight.
And they got 3 wides in the game, spreading the field, but you got 27 at tailback, and K-State's going to bring some heat.
Kenny put the man in motion. Rice the lone setback, as Mike points out. The pitch play near side. Rice has nowhere to go. Excellent pursuit from both the front and the backside. And guys, we touched on, as McKinney and Andrew Urquhart combined on the stop, we touched on the running back situation, and we also wondered about the quarterback comparison tonight. Going into this game, 2 guys who have a penchant for making the big play and also making mistakes.
Right.
And so far, it's been Teal's night.
Well, I think one quarterback got a chance to play in his comfort zone, and that's Mike Teal.
Yep.
And he got the running game going. He got a chance to use the play-action pass game. And I don't think Josh Freeman ever got in his comfort zone because of the pressure from the Rutgers defense.
No question.
He hasn't had an opportunity to plant his back foot and get the football out of his hands vertically.
But let's make something clear. He's going to be a special football player.
I believe so. I totally agree. I believe he will.
Ito 1 of 2 tonight on field goals right here from 27 yards out.
Whoa.
And Ito is no good. Boy, Ito coming into play tonight, 19 for 24 on field goals. Tonight, he's missed 2 of 3.
Did his plant foot slide out there?
It's the 2nd time we've seen a field goal kicker slip on a kick. Bad field here in Houston. Stay with us. Open up a 3-touchdown lead with 4 minutes, 13 seconds left to play. And what has been an extended 3rd quarter. And this is a never-ending quarter from K-State's point of view. Just trying to survive guys into the final period as they keep it on the ground on 1st down. And what do you do here if you're Ron Prince? Do you just establish the run guys? Do you just try to let loose and go through the air? What do you do?
No, you protect your young players. This is not a game where you want to ruin the confidence of your young football team. Josh Freeman, the quarterback, is a freshman. You have a lot of young, impressionable guys on this offense, and you don't want Josh going back, dropping back, throwing the football 30 times in the next quarter and 3 minutes and taking a beating, because they haven't been able to protect him in a normal 3-5-step drop, as you see right here. So you certainly do not want him taking a beating.
And Sterling, the ball is loose, and Rutgers has recovered. Boy, Freeman was holding that one like a loose loaf of bread that time, and they're able to poke it through. And things get even worse for this K-State team. Mel Meekin's the man who applied the hit.
Here comes
Jamal Westerman on the recovery.
You got Rankert, and you've got the safety, Gerald. They've been bringing heat from the secondary all day long. That's part of their blitz package. Westerman comes up with it. Look at the ball there. I watched that both teams practice this week. Both coaches big on the Tiki Barber. Hold the ball high and tight, but that's typical. A young quarterback, he's talking to his head coach. You can't let the ball out there. You hung in the football game in the 1st half because as badly as you played, you didn't turn it over. Yet in the 2nd half, turnover, interception, touchdown. Here we go again.
So both turnovers committed tonight, committed by the Wildcats. And Rutgers takes over, a chance to build on a 21-point lead. Rice inside the 20. Brought down at the 19-yard line. Rice again way over 100 yards. Right now 21 carries, guys, 155 yards. And a long touchdown run.
And for Kansas State, I mean, you know, we talked about their impressionable guys on offense. You don't want Josh Freeman taking a beating. Defensively as well. This football team is in a position defensively that can go into the shell or go into the tank as well. So you got to figure out a way to try and protect them as well.
Ryan Leonard, the lone setback behind Mike Teal. Second down and 7 for the Scarlet Knights. Teal gives to Leonard, so Schiano committed right now to the running game, with the game comfortably in hand for Rutgers as we come up on the final 2 minutes of this third quarter. 5 yards for Leonard on the ground. It'll be third down and short.
You know, the Kansas State defense has been tested all season long against the run, and now you're in a situation where, you know what, you're getting ready to see what guys will do when they're backed into a corner. And this Kansas State defense is backed into a corner. You know, it's gap control, it's play on your side of the line of scrimmage. We're athletic, and I think that they're going to have to start to use that athleticism with a little more pressure, run blitzing as well.
Wildcats on the season 70th in NCAA play, and run defense certainly not their strength. As Teal under center on 32, the handoff to Rice, plenty of room up the middle, and Rice is inside the 10, Mike, down to the 6-yard line.
Yeah, they continue to gash them, but understand from Kansas State's viewpoint, Quentin Eccles, their starting nose, didn't play tonight because of injury. Stephen Klein stepped in, got hurt. They've got some guys in that defensive front that are undersized and outmanned. And when you got Rutgers, who can run the football and be this physical against a team that's beat up inside and not real good against the run to start with, it's a mismatch.
Yes, it is. This was a Rutgers team just a couple of bounces away from a BCS berth. A triple overtime, crushing setback in West Virginia on December the 2nd. Boy, have they bounced back tonight as they have a chance now to build on a 31-10 lead. Rice inside the 5 as he approaches the 170 mark now in this game. And Rice was very vocal, guys, said that he wanted to win this game for the seniors, notably his backfield teammate Brian Leonard, the fullback.
I'll take it one step further. Head coach Greg Schiano said, you know what, everybody's going to get a ring that says Texas Bowl. We want to make sure that our seniors' Texas Bowl ring has champion on it because of what sacrifices his seniors made in coming to Rutgers based on they haven't won, they hadn't proven anything, and they hung in there, bought into the system and the program, and now you're starting to see them bear the fruits of that labor.
Well, there is Leonard. Boy, bounces off the first man, Zach Dials, who doesn't miss many tackles. Upset with himself. Leonard able to gain that extra yard or two. Ian Campbell finally brings him down. And Rutgers now, guys, is over 400 yards in total offense as this third quarter will wind down. Rutgers dominating this quarter. Had a 17-10 lead at halftime. But now it's a 3-touchdown differential. And you have to wonder if K-State has anything left in the tank emotionally or physically, as the Texas Bowl will go into the fourth quarter here in downtown Houston in just a moment. Ray Rice, a much heralded running back for the Scarlet Knights, a catalyst since halftime. And Rutgers also some stellar defensive play to bust it open. Stay with us. Beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And we heard already from the guys at halftime, Eli Manning in a conversation with Adam Schefter. And can the Giants get off the mat, Mr. Sterling Sharp?
Well, can they? Sure they can. I mean, they got enough firepower, just like we watched the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. They have enough firepower to be in a BCS Bowl. But they didn't get it done when they needed to get it done. And for the New York Giants, it's the same scenario. Go to Washington and get it done, or you watch the playoffs the same way that we do, and that's at home. I mean, that's what I love about athletics is 99% of the time it's simple. I mean, 99% of the time it's simple. It only gets complicated when we as athletes think. And you know, if we don't think, we won't screw it up.
Somewhat Darwinian.
Well, again, very philosophical.
What he said.
How about that?
Well, Rutgers in the driver's seat right now. Kansas State can't ill afford to give up any more points. Certainly not a touchdown. Here is Teal. Again, plenty of time. Throw is batted into the air and incomplete in the end zone.
Yeah, good job.
Kenny Britt the man in the vicinity. It'll be 4th down and goal.
Zach Dials did a nice job there, the inside linebacker. Teal tried to look him off, come back to the slant backside. Dials got his hand on it, and they stemmed the tide for a moment.
A play you have to make when you're a struggling football team right now, needing something good to happen, you know, Zach is in a position to make that play. You have to make that interception because you keep points off the board. Now they have an opportunity to put 3 more on.
Well, there's no sure thing tonight in the kicking game. We've seen Ito miss 2 chippies for himself by his own standards. This one has plenty of leg, and he's through the uprights. So Ito 2 of 4 on kicks tonight. And he extends the Rutgers lead to 34-10. There is a Rutgers player slow to get to his feet, but he is okay. And Rutgers builds his lead, a 24-point game. Stay with us. Back inside Reliant Stadium, early 4th quarter action. Rutgers has broken this game open, a 34-10 lead. As we take a look, guys, at our Snickers plays of the day up to this point. And a big play has certainly worked in the Scarlet Knights' favor. First half, a 49-yard pass play. Teal finds the true freshman, Tim Brown. And then first play from scrimmage in the second half, the interception by Quintero Frierson. Returns it 27 yards into the end zone. And Ray Rice, who is at 166 yards on the ground, guys, 46 coming on this touchdown sprint.
Yeah, I'd like to take it a step further and say that we've kind of anointed Ray Rice today, and justifiably. But his offensive line, the play of that young man, Tim Brown, doesn't get enough credit. That offensive line has given Mike Teal plenty of time to throw the football, and they're knocking people off the line of scrimmage.
Yes, they are.
And that, I think, is the difference in the football game on both sides of the football. Rutgers has dominated the line of scrimmage.
Total yards in this half, guys. Rutgers 157, just 10 for Kansas State. And keep in mind, this was a 17-10 game at halftime. Rutgers had just a 7-point lead. Justin McKinney on the return from his own goal line. McKinney tripped up inside the 20-yard line. Let's see if the Wildcats have any kind of answer here offensively. They have had nothing working since the intermission.
I think right now for Kansas State, you got to ask your guys for something. You're going to have to ask them to go out and play. This is an above and beyond the call of duty, because this can get out of hand. If you don't get a first down, you're continuing to go backwards. I mean, ball's under 20 now, you know, with the sack or something like that, a negative play, you're going to be punting from your end zone. You got to ask your offense to go out and go above and beyond the call of duty right now.
This Kansas State team picked to finish dead last in virtually every preseason poll in the Big 12 Conference, trying to finish their season off with a bang, but
and the
they're
tight
behind
end,
the 8 ball tonight as the penalty marker blows the play dead.
The tight end shifts and knocks the tackle out of his stance and forces the tackle to get a 5-yard penalty.
False start.
It's getting ugly.
On the offense, 5 yards. It's still first down.
Yeah, how many times does a left tackle get nudged by his tight end?
Shifting. It just knocks him out of his stance. I mean, it's one of those things that I don't think I've ever seen in football. But he knocks him out of his stance.
Let me do that again. And remember, folks, once that left hand goes down, you can't get up again.
And reset. No.
Well, Kansas State shooting itself in the foot tonight. All kinds of penalty issues. Freeman barks out something to one of his receivers up the top of your screen. The give to Patton there on first down and long, and they're going to lose more yardage. Boy, Patton has been negated tonight, a total non-factor against this Rutgers defense. And the fact that they have had to play from behind for the majority of the game is certainly not helping that Wildcats rushing attack.
When there's blood in the water, sharks show up.
Exactly what I was just thinking.
And there's blood in the water, and now you're starting to see the sharks show up. I mean, you haven't done anything to be able to get Rutgers to respect anything you do down the field.
6 carries for 17 yards for Patton. End of story.
Second down and 13. Freeman has been pressured all night. This time finds his man. It's Jordy Nelson with a lot of real estate out past the 40. And Nelson tripped up at the 45-yard line.
Nice open field tackle by Ron Giroux.
But that's one of those plays that they've actually had throughout this game. You remember he
dropped one early.
Dropped one early. I mean, they've been able to somehow versus the Rutgers blitz, they've been able to get him clean, get him coming across scot-free, nobody covering him. And, I mean, he's able to make this catch. Now, granted, it's a tough catch because it comes out of nowhere. It comes out of offensive, defensive lineman's hands, but it comes out of nowhere. But he's able to make that catch.
33-yard pass hookup between Freeman and Jordy Nelson. Nelson had a slow start to his season due to injury. He certainly came on, had a big year for Ron Prince. There's Patton on first down. Again, they keep it on the ground as Patton bounces out to about the 46, 47-yard line. Ramel Meekins forces Patton out of bounds. A 3-yard play.
Ramel Meekins. I'm going to tell you right now.
He's a monster.
6 feet, 275. He doesn't get a whole lot of respect from the NFL scouts. Undersized kid. Great motor. Real good initial quickness. He's a little bit of a tweener because he's not big enough to play that big nose in the NFL. He's going to play in the North-South game in a few weeks right here in Houston, an all-star game. And he's the kind of kid just might make somebody's team because he's so tough.
Well, Freeman takes a hard whack as he throws the football. Freeman's getting beat up now. As that play intended for Nelson, it falls incomplete. It was Brandon Rencart, guys, who laid the smack on Freeman. And he took an extra beat to get back onto his feet.
Rencart was a converted safety last spring. They moved him to outside linebacker. Has really done a nice job with the adjustment. And when you want to talk intelligence, he's got a 3.8 GPA in engineering.
Jordy Nelson is going to have to start helping the quarterback out a little bit.
Catch the ball.
I mean, if you're a mailman or a milkman, you don't have to know how to catch. But as a college wide receiver, you really are going to have to know how to catch the football if you're a college wide receiver.
It is incomplete on third down. Network. And Sterling, how about this? 4th down and 7. Well, really, what do you have to lose?
I got no choice.
Freeman again has to elude a couple of tacklers and then cannot escape the grasp of a blindside defensive player. It was Ron Geralt who wrapped him up, the Spring Valley, New York native.
They cannot protect their quarterback. They're bringing safeties all day long. Up the middle, that gets picked up. Off the edge, that gets picked up. But the safety Geralt doesn't. 34-10, Rutgers.
Well, New Jersey well represented tonight here in the Lone Star State. Rutgers pummeling K-State 34-10. And to remind you that this telecast is copyrighted by the NFL Network for private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without it, NFL Network's written consent is strictly prohibited. Ron Prince trying to keep the emotion of his players on the positive side with his club down 24. And that is an unenviable task for the 37-year-old head coach. A 34-10 Rutgers lead as Rutgers offense back on the field. Teal slings it down the far side, in and out of the hands of Kenny Britt.
Underthrown. And that ball's there, right, Sterling?
That ball is definitely there.
I mean, the ball's got to be thrown deeper to give Britt a chance. One-on-one on the edge.
But still, you know what? I'm throwing it to Kenny Britt. I'm not throwing it to back of the end zone. I'm not throwing it to number 13. I'm throwing it to Kenny Britt. And still, he wants to go over the top instead of stopping and coming back underneath. And that's one of those things that you will learn the more you get a chance to play with the guy and be in situations like this.
Joshua Moore, the man on the coverage against Britt that time. Here's Teal again on the center. As Leonard and Rice line up in the offset eye to the left. Clark Harris, the man in motion. Teal rolls out to his right, fires over the middle, completes to the tight end. And the hard hit by Kyle Williams there, the Pine Bluff, Arizona native. Penalty marker against Rutgers. This one coming back. Well, guys, let's take a listen to this smack from Williams. Oh!
Ow.
Helmet to helmet.
Ow.
You gotta like that. Honorable mention, all Big 12, Kyle Williams, but a big day for Clark Harris. 6 catches, 100 yards. This guy was all Big East 3 times.
They did not reset on the offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. We'll replay second down.
Harris, the South Jersey native, has had a penchant for playing big guys on the big stage, as we touched on earlier, and that is carried over tonight. At 100 yards receiving for Harris, the 50-year senior, 6'6", 260 pounds.
6'6".
And that's the kind of target you want, Sterling, as you know, if you're a quarterback.
I want him blocking for me. That's what I don't know if I want to throw him the ball. I want him blocking for me.
It's a strapping young man.
You know what, Sterling? That's the thing he needs to work on. You watch tape. I like him as a receiver. He's got to be more physical at the point.
Teal drops back to throw. He has had plenty of time tonight, and he is just picking apart this Kansas State secondary. As Kenny Britt just plants his feet, guys, right in the center of the field down towards the 26-yard line. First down, Rutgers, a 19-yard hookup. 1st and 10.
And I think as you watch this football game, don't pay attention to what's going on the field as far as, okay, there's a drop back pass and a completion to Kenny Britt. We're starting to lay foundations now for next season. I think Rutgers is starting to show that they can trust Mike Teal in a situation like this. Let him throw the football in this situation. And I think Kansas State's defense is going to learn that, you know what, when you get opportunities to make interceptions and get off the field, you have to make them.
And guys, they're not sitting on their lead. They have a 34-10 lead. They had 3 straight pass plays before that one as they give to Brian Leonard. And Leonard very close to another Rutgers first down. Some pushing and shoving after the whistle. Looked like Marcus Watts getting tangled up with Sam Johnson. 9 yards on the ground from Leonard.
You know what, though, Spiros, there's still almost 11 minutes left in this football game. It's 34-10. It's not time to call off the dog, Jay.
Oh, hey,
it's too early.
It's not Rutgers' job to keep the score down. I mean, you had this ample opportunity to practice, and I think Kansas State, it's a dogfight
right.
now.
But at some point, you show respect for the other coach, and you call the dogs off. It's not that point yet.
I agree.
Seal play action on 2nd and short. Fires over the middle, completes to Harris. And Clark Harris now over the century mark inside the 5-yard line. Williams on the tackle. A strong safety. A 12-yard play through the air for Rutgers, and it will be 1st and goal with the Scarlet Knights again knocking on the doorstep.
Hey, I'm just looking at, listening to Rutgers talk and how they put things together. I don't think, when I look at Rutgers, I think they're starting to set the table as far as who they are. Got a great MO or identity, as we like to say. And Leonard now looks like he's going to get an opportunity to touch the football maybe as a senior, try and get it in the end zone. So you're starting to reward those players that have given you 3, 4, 5 years of great service. But, it's one of those situations where Kansas State going to take this game, watch the video, they're going to learn from it. They're going to move on. They're going to be an outstanding football team next season, I believe. And
flag is down. This one against Rutgers again.
And I think Rutgers is going to do the same. I think they're going to build off that 10-2 season or 11-2 season.
Less than 7 men on the line of scrimmage. 5 yards. Replay 1st down.
Well, we know the key participants, guys, for Rutgers offensively will be back. Mike Teal is just a sophomore. Rice in his sophomore season as well. And Rice is going to go under a lot of attention in the Heisman Trophy race next season without question.
This is as good a sophomore group of running backs around the country as I've ever seen. Ray Rice is one of 4 or 5 guys that are big-time players. Steve Slayton, McFadden from Arkansas, the kid from Oregon, Jonathan Stewart, Brandon Orr from Virginia Tech. All 5 of those kids can flat-out play.
Rice lines up in the I formation set behind his fullback Leonard. Tim Brown, a young speedster in motion. Rice on the take. He's inside the 10-yard line, very close to the 5. Here are some of the names that Mike Mayock just mentioned as we come up on the 9-minute mark left in regulation. And now Ray Rice is slow to get to his feet.
Now, you look at this list, Sterling, as talented a group of running backs as sophomores I've ever seen. McFadden, he's in New York this year as a sophomore for a Heisman Trophy. Brandon Orr doesn't get talked about as much nationally as he deserves. Explosive kid. We know about Ray Rice. Jonathan Stewart, because of who he is on the West Coast, doesn't get enough attention. And certainly we hope that Ray Rice is okay here.
Well, this is the last thing Greg Schiano wants to see, whether he's up 24 down by that margin, as we try to figure out where the injury came into play.
Oh,
it looks like
he's
checking out that right side, that right hip area. You can see him kind of throw his head back in pain.
Okay, I think I've seen all I need to see of Ray Rice in this game. I think I've seen all I need to see of Ray Rice in this game, okay?
Come on over, Ray.
Yep.
Well done. Brian, why don't you take over now? You're a senior.
Yeah, you're a senior. Go ahead and get these carries, man.
Get yours right now.
So we don't want to speculate, but it does look like that right hip area. As long as it's not a knee or an ankle, but Schiano will feel better. You can see that little forced smile.
He's fighting to stay in the game. That's what he's doing now. He's telling Coach Schiano right now, hey, Coach, I'm okay now. I can go back in if you need.
Rice at this point is giving him $170 on the ground, including that 46-yard touchdown run early in the 3rd quarter. Here's Leonard now on 2nd down and goal inside the 5. So it's Brian Leonard's show now, and this may be the way Greg Schiano wants it, a chance to give his seniors some extra time in his last game at Rutgers red and white. And Rice is still politicking for some more time.
Well, he's letting them know, I got a knee to the hip, but, let me walk it out. I'm going to walk it out, and I should be okay. If we're inside the 5. If you need me, I could go back in and maybe give you 1, maybe 2 more carries. See him looking. He's looking because he wants to go back in the game.
The doctors are trying to pull him toward the sideline. He's backing up toward the field.
Well, Greg Schiano has the Scarlet Knights 8 minutes away from the first bowl victory in the 137-year history of the program. And the only team is Rutgers from a BCS conference that has never won a bowl game. That'll all change tonight, barring any last fourth quarter miracles. Timeout. Houses outside downtown Houston, and from the looks of it, Ray Rice's night is over. A huge night for him, 170 yards on the ground.
19 first downs to 4. 446 total yards to 116.
Right now a 3rd and goal. Cordell Young in the out formation behind the fullback Brian Leonard. Teal goes play action, has plenty of time again. Flushes out, throws end zone, and it's incomplete. Teal not wanting to force anything.
I like that. I like that decision by the sophomore. Great job by Kansas State. Good coverage on play action. Couldn't run it in. Sterling, throw it in the 10th row.
He
bought
all the time he could buy, and he was like, you know what, I got nothing. I got nothing.
Schiano smiling. And, that's a great job. That's a sophomore who's coming of age. Kick the field goal. Points on the board. That's what this game's all about.
Jeremy Ito on for a 21-yard field goal try. So again, he's missed twice tonight. And he's venting out some frustration now. Hammers that one through the uprights. So Ito extends to a 27-point Rutgers lead as the onslaught is officially on here at Houston. A must-have, especially this time of year with the regular season winding down and the postseason just around the corner. Mike Teal all smiles on that Rutgers sideline as the Scarlet Knights guys looking to cap off a remarkable turnaround of their season as this resurrection under Greg Schiano continues tonight. And it'll be just the 2nd time in their long history that they have won 11 games.
And they're going to be to deal with in 2007. They got a lot of talent coming back. They're going to be to deal with again next college football season.
Jeremy Ito launches it, taken by Leon Patton at the goal line. Patton springs his way up the center of the field. There is a flag down way behind the play, about 20 yards back at the 16-yard line of K-State.
Spiro, let's talk a little bit about how you change a culture in a program.
During the return, number 80, half the distance, first down.
And the lifeline of college football is recruiting.
Right.
And for years, they always said if you could keep the homegrown talent in New Jersey, you could win at Rutgers.
There you go.
Now, here's a Jersey boy, Greg Schiano, coming home. Big success at Miami. If you look through their roster, Brian Leonard was a big-time recruit. Syracuse wanted him badly. He comes. He comes when they're 1-10. He comes. He believes in Greg Schiano. Then they start getting guys like Ray Rice. Ray Rice had originally committed to Syracuse. Then he gets Ray Rice's teammate, Courtney Green. He decommitted from Syracuse. Uh-oh.
Pass play over the middle is Josh Freeman trying to spring something happening with their offense.
But then what happens?
Pass play for the first down. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry, but then what happens is I pick up the USA Today in the hotel yesterday. It's got the All-American high school team. I'm up on the bike because I need that, Sterling. I need the bike, a little cardio. I get the paper out. Hurry up offense. Westerman again with the sack. Same old story, fellas. But you pick up the USA Today. The top offensive lineman in the country is from Piscataway, New Jersey. His final 3 college choices. Listen to these 3. USC, Ohio State, and Rutgers. Because you have said...
The penalty is declined. Second down.
Can you imagine that just a few years ago? The top high school lineman in the country is determining its decision. USC, Ohio State, and Rutgers. That's how far this program has come.
Well, Schiano said one of the reasons he took the job initially was the very fertile recruiting soil in the New York metro area. As Freeman with pass play towards the outside. It's James Johnson on the reception. And there is the 40-year-old Home Depot National Coach of the Year, Greg Schiano. And we should also point out, guys, the relationship and the fact that Schiano has really held the former Kansas State head coach Bill Snyder as a mentor. Actually met Bill here in Houston at a luncheon just the other day. And Snyder, of course, the man who really resurrected the K-State football program in the late 90s. Took over a team that finished 0-11 in back-to-back seasons. And walked over to the 2003 Big 12 championship. As that play is completed up to the 40-yard line, so Freeman's still trying to make things happen.
That was a big-time throw. That was a big-time throw.
And did you see Meekins jack the offensive lineman right back into it? It was a great throw because he got jacked, but Meekins is just still coming, man. It's fun to watch.
His motor is still going.
It's ticking.
16 yards through the air. Jordy Nelson now a quiet 4 catches tonight for 81 yards. And we will stay here on 4th down and 4 timeout call with 6:51 left to play. So Schiano, guys, able to come together with Snyder just the other day, and he's been very vocal about how he feels about the former K-State football coach. And again, we remind you that the Giants and the Redskins will do battle in our nation's capital on Saturday night. As the Giants still have a slim playoff hopes alive. Maybe not too slim with the way that the NFC East is shaken out, as all the action begins Saturday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on NFL Network. Schiano also said that he has bought Snyder's book, hasn't had a chance to read it yet. Ron Prince, of course, took over for Bill Snyder.
He's got the cliff notes, though, because he's doing the same thing. And you know, Bill Snyder was 136, 68-1 in 17 years. He's winning 67%. Ron Prince, who we're seeing right there at age 37. Sterling, he grew up 19 miles from his office.
19 miles.
19 miles in Junction City, Kansas. That's where he grew up. Kansas State didn't recruit him. Ended up at Appalachian State. Has gone all over the country, and at age 37, he's a guy who I think has helped turn that program around. Not that it was in dire straits.
Right.
2 years in a row without a bowl game. Stabilized the thing. I think he's going to be able to recruit and get these guys back in there among the elite of the Big 12.
I agree.
Snyder is the 3rd youngest head coach in all of Division 1A and is just the 6th first-year head coach in Big 12 history to lead his team to bowl eligibility in year 1. So obviously not the end to the season he wanted, as Freeman is hit as he throws, but despite that, guy shows poise as he completes to the tight end with shot Norwood over the middle, and that's enough for a K-State first down. How about the play now of Freeman as Norwood looks like he's shaken up?
He got hit around the knees, but I'm liking what I see from Freeman. He is standing in there knowing that, you know what, the entire Rutgers front 4 and 2 safeties are going to end up in his face.
Freeman again trying to escape pressure. He's done that all night long. That one kind of flutters out and it's picked off as he was hit as he released the football there. The interception by Rod Geralt there, and Geralt is inside Wildcats territory. Finally brought down at the 47-yard line with 6:21 remaining in this 4th quarter. And guys, you have to feel a little bit for Freeman.
That one sailed on him a little
bit. Hasn't had a chance to breathe tonight.
Hadn't had a chance to stay. He really hadn't had a chance to get in any rhythm whatsoever.
Offensive line play has been a weak spot for Ron Prince this season, and that has certainly been the case tonight. Timeout. Well, the K-State fans came out in droves tonight, about 14,000 for Manhattan, Kansas. And things certainly looked a lot better in the first half as Josh Freeman throws his 2nd interception of the night. But really can't put too much of the blame on his shoulders. Just has not had any kind of pass protection tonight. 34-yard return by Ron Geralt after the interception. Mike Teal and Rutgers guys take over. A 37-10 lead for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
It's time for Kansas State defense to try and make a play. I think, you know, cause a turnover, rip the ball out. You know, if Rutgers decides to throw it, come up with an interception. They haven't been able to solve Rutgers' run-pass balance. They just haven't been able to get pressure on Teal, and when he has, he's been able to find his big tight end over the middle, and that has created havoc for the linebackers and safeties of Kansas State.
Well, what Rutgers has victimized this K-State defense to the tune of nearly 450 yards of total offense, and they build on that number as Brian Leonard shows his athleticism, hopping over would-be tacklers down to the 37-yard line. 12 yards on the ground. And here again, the updated QB comparison tonight. Teal, guys, has had a lot more help in front of him.
Yes.
And behind him as well with Ray Rice.
Yeah. I mean,
it's an unfair comparison.
Yes, it is.
And I think you made that point earlier, Sterling.
Yes, it is.
And Freeman can't be judged on what he did today. Yeah, should he had a couple of those interceptions back? Absolutely. But I'd file that under learning experience.
One of the few mistakes Tim Brown has made tonight. Trips over his own 2 feet going in motion. And the pass play taken by Harris. He nearly sprung himself free, but ran out of room there along the near sideline inside the 20.
Does that play look familiar, guys? Play action, tight end, little corner route. Corner bites on the play action, wide open.
And I think when you look at what Rutgers does, it's system. Oh, my God. Oh, that's my guy.
Whoa, number 30, Chris Carney. Where'd he go?
I'm trying to help out on the run. Coach, guy just ran for 13 yards. I'm trying to help out on the run.
Well, what a night for that man. Clark Harris, 7 catches tonight. 120 yards for the big tight end. It's 6'6", 260 pounds. First down, the take by Brian Leonard, straight up the middle as he approaches the 15-yard line.
You know, when you look at what Mike Teal has done tonight, he has done a great job of managing the offense. You know what? Get the ball out of my hand. Not going to make any mistakes. I'm not going to force anything early. Get the ball out of my hands. Allow the system to work its way, work its magic. We run the football. We play action pass off of that. He had to make 6-8 throws. If this game had stayed closer than it was, you saw the throws he was able to make on 3rd down. He is really starting to grow into this quarterback thing. And I think that the West Virginia game, leaps and bounds, made him the player we're seeing right now.
North Field in Bergen County, New Jersey native. About an hour drive north from the Rutgers campus. Great finish to his 2006 campaign.
You know, here's my take on Teal. I watched a bunch of his tape early in the year. Was unimpressed. Made the comment on one of our Total Access shows that I didn't think he was ready to help this team beat Louisville. I was wrong. In the second half of the Louisville game, Brian Brom looked like the scared sophomore, and this kid stepped up, steadied the ship, and made plays to help them beat Louisville. Then against West Virginia, he goes 19 of 26 for 278. That's 73%. So Sterling, in big games, this young man has elevated his play.
He really has. And I think when you look at the two systems and how they are, in Kansas State, their athleticism, they need to, get the ball in their athletes' hands, let them make the plays. Whereas in Rutgers, the system itself, we run the ball, we play action pass, we allow our quarterback to manage and not have to go out and make the play.
Well, you talk about the interception touchdown ratio, but he is 12-3 as a starter. Here throws end zone and nearly is able to find Brian Leonard in the back corner of the end zone. It falls incomplete.
And that surprises me. The thing Brian Leonard, I think, does better than anything else is catch the football. He's a better athlete than people think.
Yes, he is.
He's a tailback who's also a fullback, but catches the ball extremely well. Where's this ball? Oh, every day, every day you got to make that catch, Brian.
I mean, he's the career leader. He's the receiving leader for Rutgers. I mean, he's led them all season in receptions. I mean, when you look at what this guy is able to, you don't believe he's going to drop that.
205 career receptions. Unbelievable. And the guy that dropped an easy touchdown.
And guys, they will go for it here on 4th downs. But obviously, with the field being in bad shape the way it is, not feeling comfortable enough to go to the kick. And so they kind of give the ball now to Kansas State, as it will be a turnover on downs. And you can hear the Rutgers faithful here, about 10,000 strong, making the trip from New Jersey. Rutgers selling about 10,000 tickets for tonight's game.
The way they got Brian Leonard, his older brother Nate suffered an ACL injury his senior year in high school. And all the other schools recruiting him backed away except for Rutgers. So Leonard's older brother took the scholarship to Rutgers. Leonard was highly recruited by Syracuse, but at the last moment decided he wanted to go with this guy to a school that had supported his brother, and he was really one of the first of several high-profile athletes that committed to Greg Schiano.
So Kansas State will make a quarterback change. Dylan Meyer, who of course was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the season before the change, is into the game first time tonight. And they keep it on the ground on first down. Meyer, a native of Pittsburgh, Kansas, in his senior season as his college career winds down. 6'2", 211 pounds. Played the first 5 games of the year, was pulled at halftime of that Big 12 conference opener against Baylor. A game that they would go on to lose 17-3, but that really the turning point as the reins were turned over to the true freshman Josh Freeman. A nice chance for Meyer to get some run here before his college career is over.
And you know what? And you know, as a head coach, sometimes you actually have to coach as you see Meyer catches his own pass.
Late flag.
Hey,
there it is.
It's the same trivia question that all the Green Bay Packer fans try to get me on. And that is, who did Brett Favre complete his first pass to? You know, it's the same trivia question they try and get me on. Yeah, it's almost like I wasn't paying attention in the game.
Illegal forward pass.
People underestimate you, Sterling.
That penalty force half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. Also carries the loss of down to third down.
They got some of the kids coming off the field now. Greg Schiano, the first one to meet them as they come off and say, great day, great career. Thank you so much, Devron Thompson, for what you've done for me. Devron Thompson is a special kid, by the way. He's a kid that he told me that Thompson, although not as physically talented, he's got the study habits of Dan Morgan and the instincts of Nate Webster.
Oh, wow.
Pretty good bio.
One of 25 seniors graduating under Greg Schiano as Meyer completes the pass on third down and long out past the 10-yard line. This senior class guy is so special to Greg Schiano. Guys who committed to this program when Rutgers football was down and out 3-4 years ago.
Won 6 games in 3 years. 1-10 the year that Greg Schiano took over. Takes a strong individual to come through to go through that and say, you know what, I want to go play at Rutgers.
Guys, when he was at Miami, they played Rutgers his last 2 years, and they beat Rutgers by a combined 119-6.
So West Virginia beat him 80-7
but that
a couple
was
of
the
years
state,
ago.
Yeah, that was the state of this program.
Right.
And now 2 bowls in a row, knocking at the door at the BCS. That man right there truly believes that he can win a national championship in Piscataway, New Jersey.
If they run the football like they did tonight, and if they throw the football like they did tonight,
you're in.
And if they play defense like they did tonight, I believe that too.
Here comes Meekins, played a great football game. Talk about a high motor guy, Foster and Meekins. They can play for me now.
And there, look, Greg Schiano embracing some of his assistant coaches. And what does it say about the 40-year-old Schiano that he is not leaving for that big, high-profile job like a Miami? As the Hurricanes, of course, came calling, but Schiano says, guys, he is content to stay in Jersey as they try to restructure his contract, obviously, and get him locked up for as long as possible.
No, they're not restructuring that contract. They're tearing that one up. It's a whole new one. It's a totally new one.
5 yards, still first down.
Yeah, he kind of had the pick of the litter this year as far as other college jobs out there, and it says a lot.
Yes.
To me, but more importantly to his team. Look at that big smile, man. That's great.
And I think some of the guys that caused him to stay, fullback Brian Leonard, tight end Clark Harris, wide receiver Sean Tucker, linebacker William Beckford, defensive back Manny Collins, the punter Joe Radigan. I think guys like that, because like we were talking about earlier, when the program looked like it was going nowhere, not only came to Rutgers, but those that were already here stayed at Rutgers. And I think that, you know, this is it's great to see that, you know what, it ain't about the money, it's about the kids. And these seniors, and he's paying off these seniors, and looks like these seniors are trying to sneak around and pay him off.
I'm liking it.
Well, it didn't happen overnight for Schiano.
No.
As
look at
Rutgers
it.
Scarlet Knights lost 20 of his first 23 games.
That's respect right there.
One of the few.
Spiro, that's respect right there. They like Greg Schiano so much, they didn't want to drown him. So they poured some of the water out.
Either that or they were in the weight room enough and they couldn't lift it.
And a few turnovers committed by Rutgers tonight.
He's running away.
Now they're trying to track him down. Sciano's too low for him. They're going to hold him back. The Bill Parcells Gatorade shower. Sciano leads the Scarlet Knights to their first ever bowl victory. And it comes here in Houston at the inaugural Texas Bowl in 2006. Final score, the Scarlet Knights 37 and Kansas State 10. And again, just a final thought on Ron Prince. Obviously a tremendous season for the Wildcats as well, as Kansas State will finish at 7-6 overall with this loss tonight. We take a look now at tonight's Pontiac game-changing performance. And here it was, the first play of scrimmage in the second half. And from this point, Rutgers never looked back, guys.
Yes.
Quintero Frierson returning the interception, 27 yards for a touchdown.
And you know what? They stayed aggressive. Not only did they run the football with Ray Rice, but they continued to throw the football. Mike Teal finding his tight end all night long. So they stayed aggressive even after the big turnover. And that defense never allowed Kansas State's offense to get on track.
Relentless pressure against the pass. Wouldn't let him run the football. Spiros, if you can't do those two things, good night.
Well, nice showing of emotion by Sciano and his players. Again, a final from Houston in the Texas Bowl. Rutgers over Kansas State, 37-10. Coming up next, it's Total Access with Fran Charles, Rod Woodson, and Jamie Dukes. Will have scores and highlights, NFL news, and a look around the NFL, plus the post-game press conference. We'll hear from Rutgers head coach Greg Sciano. This has been a presentation of NFL Network.
Greg Sciano and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, they win it 37-10. The 2006 season, a historic campaign for Rutgers, earning its first top 10 ranking in school history back in November, adding its first ever bowl win Thursday, and its second 11-win season in the 137-year history of the program. For more on Rutgers, here are the guys who called the game: Spiro Ditas, Sterling Sharp, and Mike Mayock.
Well, plenty of pageantry in downtown Houston Thursday night as the inaugural Texas Bowl goes the way of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, and college football is officially back on the map in central New Jersey. The first ever bowl victory for Greg Sciano and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Great to be back with you inside the broadcast booth here at Reliance Stadium. And Sterling, we wondered, whether or not Mike Teal could make plays tonight. You said that he would have some chance to do so. Certainly came up big for Sciano and Rutgers.
And I thought the way Mike Teal played and handled himself in this football game paid dividends for the Rutgers offense, because what he was able to do when he had to throw the football, beautiful 49-yard catch and run right here over the top to Tim Brown. And I think with Mike Teal throwing the football as well as he did, let Kansas State know that they could not play that 8-man front, and all that did was allow Ray Rice, who turned out to be the MVP in this football game, to do the things that we have seen him do week in and week out. 24 carries, 170 yards and a touchdown. He finished off the way that they wanted to finish this thing off. Got points early, turned the game over to the running game a little bit later.
And announced shortly after the conclusion of this game, Ray Rice announced as the game's most valuable player. No arguments here. On the flip side, Teal's counterpart, Josh Freeman, the true freshman, much heralded player. We heard a lot about this young man. His offensive line just never gave him a chance to make any plays tonight.
Tough day for the true freshman, and give credit to Greg Sciano and his blitz package. Not time at all day. Corner blitz. McCourty coming off the edge. Here they are, Westerman. They couldn't block him all day long. 10 for 21, 129 yards, 2 interceptions, including Frierson takes it to the house with the first play of the second half. So Campbell, did he have a good game? No, but too much pressure.
Well, obviously a disappointing setback for Kansas State in what otherwise was a very overachieving season. Rutgers, meantime, just their second 11-win season in the 137-year history of Rutgers football. We go back to our studios.